Calling Wise Guys, mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service. Book today at wiseguysprowash.com.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12 o'clock on this Tuesday, August 26th. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. The news here at noon is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. And our top story, President Trump taking aim at a member of the Federal Reserve Board who is from Georgia. The president says he is firing Lisa Cook, accusing her of mortgage fraud. One of the properties in question, a condominium here in Atlanta. Karen Travers is following developments from Washington this noon, saying Cook says she's not going anywhere.
We should note that these allegations have been referred to the Justice Department. It is not clear yet if they have investigated this. Lisa Cook is fighting back, saying that she is not going to resign and that the president has no authority to fire her, so this will likely end up in court.
And of course, we will be watching. Your weather for today, a mix of sun and clouds, breezy at times. Some of those winds could be gusting up to 20 miles an hour, and your afternoon high around 82. How's the rest of your work week looking? We'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast. That comes your way at 12:05. Happening right now, closing arguments underway for the former state trooper charged in a high-speed crash in Carroll County that killed 2 teenagers a decade ago, A.J. Scott. He took the stand in his own defense, admitting to going 90 miles an hour when he slammed into a car full of teenagers along Highway 27. He had no lights or sirens on at the time. Jury deliberations could follow today's closing arguments. WSB's Veronica Waters will be watching that for you. A University of Georgia fraternity's in trouble, under review after a hazing allegation. UGA pauses new membership activity at the Sigma Chi fraternity. A hazing and alcohol complaint was first reported to campus police just ahead of the fall semester, claiming freshmen were forced to drink alcohol, quote, beyond their capacity. It also accuses fraternity leaders of making pledges send videos of themselves chugging alcohol during the summer. A university spokesperson says the investigation is being handled by Athens-Clarke County Police since the fraternity is off campus. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB. It is 12:02. This is new here at noon. The Atlanta Dogwood Festival is in danger of having to shut down because of rising cost and lack of funding.
We need $250,000 to be able to go forward with it, because we're not going to enter into contracts that we don't feel that we are guaranteed to be able to cover.
Now, that is Brian Hill, executive director of the Atlanta Dogwood Festival. They're looking for individual donations and support from local businesses. He says they need to raise the money by November 1st in order for this year's festival to happen, or else there will be no 90th annual Atlanta Dogwood Festival coming up next year. Well, the Masters is making a rare change to how players can qualify. Augusta National is eliminating automatic invitations to winners of the weaker PGA Tour events in the fall and will now recognize winners of 6 national opens. It includes the South African Open, Australian Open, Japan Open, Spanish Open, Hong Kong Open, and the Scottish Open. The goal is to get more international players. The Masters already has the smallest field of golfers for majors with less than 100 players. Are you about to have lunch? Well, Cracker Barrel admits that it could have done a better job with its rollout of a new logo and restaurant design.
Cracker Barrel needs to feel like the Cracker Barrel for today and for tomorrow.
So business strategist Kathleen Griffith says Cracker Barrel has decided to go ahead and keep Uncle Herschel on the menus and road signs saying he is family. The American College of Cardiology issuing vaccine guidance for those with heart disease. Doctors say patients with heart disease have a higher risk of infection when exposed to respiratory viruses like COVID or flu. Dr. Paul Heidenreich is on the writing committee for the American College of Cardiology. He says studies have shown that vaccines are highly effective.
Patients with heart disease have a much worse outcome if they do get infected, and so the importance for that group has been realized maybe more recently. But in general, these other vaccines have been around for decades and have been known to provide a benefit.
And by the way, flu vaccines are typically available starting next month. Over 1.4 million Honda and Acura vehicles are under recall this afternoon because the engine could fail. There have been more than 400 reports of engine failures so far. The National Transportation Safety Board saying the failure of the connecting rod bearing can lead to engine damage, stalling, and potential safety risk. This recall impacts Honda and Acura models dating back to 2016 through 2020. Some of the models included in this recall: the Acura NDX, TLX, the Honda Odyssey, Pilot, and Ridgeline. And how do you feel about the economy? Consumer confidence dipped in August. The Conference Board's Consumer Confidence Index fell by more than a point from July's reading as consumers became less optimistic about the economy. Americans are worried about tariffs and higher prices, including food and groceries. Purchasing plans for homes remain stable, while discretionary spending on things like eating out, entertainment, and vacations were all down. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 5 at 45,288. NASDAQ is in positive territory, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams joining us with a look at the roads.
Hey, Sabrina, not a fun start to our lunch hour on the northwest side of town with 2 construction zones. Travel advisory 75 south out of Ackworth into Kennesaw with right lane construction at Wade Green Road, exit 273. You can use Highway 41. And now they've set up right lane construction 575 southbound at Bells Ferry Road, exit 4. Jamming that ride back through Woodstock. Highway 5 is the alternate there. Seeing some brake lights out of Norcross into DeKalb County on 85 southbound from Jimmy Carter Boulevard. Mostly those right lanes bunched up trying to get onto I-285. Luckily, no crashes in the way there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Your 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemake, the official air conditioning of Atlanta.
A dry, cold front pushing through metro Atlanta will produce some cloud cover, but little to no rainfall. Instead, a reinforcing blast of cool, dry air moving in for today with a high of 82. Lows tonight dropping to near record low territory as temperatures fall to the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 83. Increasing cloud cover on Thursday, high 81. Friday, mostly cloudy with rain showers mainly on the south side with a daytime high near 80. Saturday, drying out, partly cloudy, high 82.
More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is instant. INSTANT, instant. Enter the keyword instant into the WSB Radio app or WSBradio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword and win $1,000. Keyword is instant. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. Good luck.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It's Eric Erickson across the United States of America. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, delighted to have you with me today. We've got to begin with the breaking news. Lisa Cook's lawyers have run to court to say that Donald Trump cannot fire her from the Federal Reserve. I actually suspect he can, but in the process, I'm increasingly concerned that due to social media, the right is playing with fire. And let me just back up. A lot of people on the right diagnosed social media, particularly Twitter back in the day, as being a social contagion for the left's thinking. The left started saying these outlandish things on social media and intensely began bullying people on their own side into shutting up any dissent. And ultimately, it led the left into embracing nonsensical positions like boys should be okay in girls' bathrooms and boys should be allowed in girls' sports. And in their bubble where they silenced any dissent internally, they had no pushback, and they began to believe it was such a great thing. They tried to mainstream it, and the public pushed back against them. I'm afraid the right is doing this, and I want to use Lisa Cook as a point here, because I actually think that Lisa Cook can be fired by the President of the United States. She serves on the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. She was put there by Joe Biden. She's the first black woman on the Federal Reserve's board, and that has a lot to do with why the Federal Reserve has kind of turned a blind eye internally to some of Cook's problems. The Trump administration has produced documents accusing her of mortgage fraud, saying she claimed 2 different houses as her main residence in 2021 to get better loan terms. They've referred it to the Justice Department. Now, there are 2 other people, Letitia James and Adam Schiff, that Bill Pult has made these accusations against. The president said Cook needed to resign. She didn't resign, and now he's decided he's going to fire her. Here's the thing. I think the president can fire members of the Federal Reserve to an extent. He can certainly fire the chairman. We're in uncharted legal territory here. Here's my problem with this one, and hear me out, and a lot of the base is really mad at me today for speaking up and saying this is a bad idea. What do we have? We actually have an accusation. The evidence on which the accusation is based looks very bad for Lisa Cook. But it's an accusation. You don't have to have a criminal proceeding to fire Lisa Cook, I don't believe. But I think you have to have more than an accusation. There needs to be a finding. Who's to say the documents produced by the Trump administration are legit? Now, you and I think so because we trust the Trump administration. We don't think they would forge documents. But who's the arbiter to say that they're legitimate documents? Now, you see, this is why I think you're thinking short term here. Let's do President Newsom or Buttigieg or President Harris, who decides they want to take over the Federal Reserve, and so here they come with documents that show mortgage fraud. Who's to say those documents are legit? You wouldn't believe them. You would think they're trumped up. You would think that that no one has affirmed that this is real stuff. You would say this is an effort by them to take over the Federal Reserve, that it's an inappropriate breach. If the standard applies to one, it's got to apply to the other. I think the president, for cause, can get rid of a member of the Federal Reserve Board. Frankly, I think the Federal Reserve Board, based on these allegations itself, should investigate Lisa Cook. And I think, frankly, a lot of them don't want to because she's the first black member, and they don't want accusations of racism against the Federal Reserve, and Trump doesn't care. I think the evidence looks bad, but no one's verified the documents are real. It's an accusation. ProPublica piled on Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito and others on the Supreme Court to try to pressure them out of cases, to resign, or to be impeached. And it was just accusations. And people on the right said these are just accusations to create an appearance of impropriety. It's very easy in politics to create appearances of impropriety. If you're going to use the appearance of impropriety standard, be prepared for the left to do it to you. Again, it's a short-term play that has long-term, deeply negative ramifications for the right. There's no such thing as permanence in politics. If you establish the precedent now that the president can fire a member of the Federal Reserve because the president's team makes an accusation and says there's something bad, not only do we upend the whole idea that you're innocent until proven guilty, which is a bedrock foundational principle within American governance, but you also set the left up to trump up charges on the right and do the same thing. And you're saying, well, but the charges are legitimate. Yeah, because you trust your side. I trust our side. I don't think the Trump administration is manufacturing these documents. I don't think they're forging the documents. I totally think that people on the left would forge the documents to out someone from the Federal Reserve who's on the right. But if the standard is we've got the documents, here they are, you're fired, well, then who's to stop them from forging the documents on the left and firing the person before any arbiter has said, yeah, the docs are legit? It's a dangerous standard here. It's also, by the way, why the Federal Reserve should have been very careful about policing and regulating its own, which the Federal Reserve can do. They've set themselves up for this. Now, here's how this is probably going to play out. I suspect she's going to have, there's the interest rate cut vote in September. She's now run to court to say Trump can't fire her. She's going to find a sympathetic judge in D.C. to say you're right. And there will be a hearing, and it will be dragged out, and it won't really matter. And she'll probably get through the vote in September and then see what happens. I just think that we're playing with fire on the right when we don't think about the long-term ramifications of how we're emboldening the other side. And I pointed this out on social media, and people were, whoa, surprise, surprise, the Democrats trump up charges. Give me an example of the Democrats making accusations against a Republican on the Federal Reserve. Now, here's what this is all about, actually, is that a lot of people, myself included, don't believe the Federal Reserve is a constitutional entity. I don't. I think the government of the United States is divided into three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. And Congress created the Federal Reserve as an independent board. It gets a lot of its own funding, the way it does business. The president can appoint certain members. Most of them the president is not allowed to appoint. They're appointed by a Federal Reserve Board of Governors, or they're appointed by the different banks to the Federal Reserve Board. The president doesn't really get a say, except in a couple people, including the chairman of the Federal Reserve. There's a lot of distance, and I don't believe the founders intended for that to be set up. That being said, I don't think the Supreme Court's going to go along with it. They've already just sua sponte on their own in a recent case, acknowledged the independence of the Federal Reserve Board. It wasn't even irrelative to the case, and they felt the need to say it. The Supreme Court's going to tell me I'm wrong and you're wrong on the constitutionality or lack thereof of the Federal Reserve. And what they say matters, not what you and I say. I can say the Constitution is divided into three branches, legislative, executive, and judicial. It doesn't fit either one, any of those. Therefore, it's unconstitutional. The Supreme Court's going to say, Congress has the right to create these quasi-independent agencies. Also, the people who are most committed to destroying the Federal Reserve have the benefit of being committed to something that they actually know isn't going to happen. That's one of the funny things in politics these days. A lot of people stake out strident positions with the luxury of knowing their position is never going to happen. They can radicalize you to their position, including getting rid of the Federal Reserve, knowing it's not going to happen. When the Supreme Court comes out and says the Fed is independent and you can't fire the Federal Reserve Chairman, Mr. President, when that's not even at stake before the court, I can guarantee you the Supreme Court's not going to strike down the Federal Reserve, and they're going to maintain its independence. And so you can go mouth off about the Federal Reserve all you want with the luxury of knowing that you're not going to get your way. What happens if you do get your way? Then monetary policy in the United States of America becomes at the whim of politicians. And there are plenty of examples, including Great Britain in the 1980s before some Thatcher reforms, that show how destabilizing it is when you have monetary policy set by the politicians. Y'all, we are electing some of the dumbest people in America to politics. New York has elected Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Minnesota has elected Ilhan Omar. Georgia has elected Marjorie Taylor Greene. Do you really want those people setting your monetary policy? When you let the politicians do it, you're letting the popular idiots set monetary policy, which is actually globally integrated and connected, and you should actually want some expertise in setting your monetary policy. The independence of central banks has kind of become the hallmark of Western democracies. It sets them apart from the communist totalitarian states, and it makes the American economy much stronger than economies elsewhere in the world, including China. The Chinese Communist Party controls its central bank. Our central bank is relatively independent with certain checks and balances, including the ability of the president to fire people for cause. But cause has got to be more than an accusation. Otherwise, the Democrats are going to have a field day firing all of Trump's appointees to the Federal Reserve in the future. Remember, when Biden came in, he fired a lot of Trump appointees to independent boards, and there was nothing to really stop him. You break down the chain of command here, and you expand the door to firing the Federal Reserve, you're going to have a completely Democrat-controlled Federal Reserve. When the Democrats come back in power, you got to be careful how you play the game. It's like the president of the flag burning. We all know that burning the flag is actually constitutional. People on the right are saying, I saw Matt Walsh the other day say, I'll believe that this is something bad when people stop getting arrested for burning pride flags. No one in America has gotten arrested for burning their own pride flag. No one in America has gotten arrested for burning their own trans flag. They've gotten arrested for stealing other people's flags and burning those. Yeah, I think the sentences are ludicrous. I personally think hate crimes legislation should be unconstitutional. Thoughts should not be crimes in the United States, and that's what a hate crime is. It's basically criminalization of a thought crime. But that's different from saying you can burn an American flag, but you can't burn a pride flag. You can go get your own pride flag and burn it, and you're not going to get arrested. But what Trump has done is he's based this on the fighting words doctrine, which the Supreme Court has greatly restrained. Trump wants to take an expansive view of the fighting words doctrine again. Again, short-term gain, long-term pain. Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, others have made a name for themselves going on college campuses and speaking, and then documenting the angry reaction of the left. You go on college campuses now, you incite the left to get angry, you're going to get arrested. That's what they're doing in Great Britain. Great Britain has an expansive fighting words doctrine. They just arrested someone the other day for waving an English flag. It made Muslims in the community feel uncomfortable, and the police told the guy to stop or go to jail. You expand the fighting words doctrine in the United States to stop the burning of the American flag, you're getting a lot of conservatives arrested for going on college campuses and inciting the left. Short-term gain, long-term pain. People are thinking emotionally about this. They're not thinking logically where this stuff heads. I think the President of the United States can fire Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve. And I think the evidence presented is very damning, and there needs to be a review to see if this is legitimate, and if it is, she should be fired. But we're not there yet. We're at an accusation. We don't know that the documents are legitimate. We presume they are because we're allies on the same side, and we don't think they would make that stuff up. But we don't give the Democrats that benefit of the doubt, and they're not going to give us the benefit of the doubt. So there's got to be some way to assess this. The Federal Reserve should have done something in-house. But we're setting precedents on the right that the left is going to use. And for everyone who comes back and says, well, the left is already doing this, show me the example of them doing this to the Federal Reserve. Show me the example of them doing this in these situations. You do have to nuance these. It's not all of this or all of that. There are lines in between, and those legal lines matter to protect us when we're not in power. The process matters because one day we will not be in charge of the White House. And if we start breaking down the process and the courts allow us to get away with it, the left will do it to us. That's why the process matters so much. And it's painful and it's slow and we don't always get our way. And that's the way the system is supposed to work. If it doesn't, well, then it's a free-for-all every time. And we're no better than some third world kleptocracy, which is where we head if we continue to break down the rule of law and the process and disrespect the Constitution and the separation of powers, all because we just want to fight the other side.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory continues between Woodstock and Kennesaw on 575 southbound with right lane construction at Bells Ferry Road exit 4. You can use Highway 5. You're slow almost back to Town Lake Parkway. 75 southbound jammed in out of Ackworth from Highway 92 down to right lane construction at Wade Green Road. For that interstate, Highway 41 gets you around those delays. Traffic Trooper Lee says look out for a ladder in a right lane I-20 eastbound in DeKalb County approaching Panola Road exit number 71. Traffic brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. International Hot Rod Association and Duran Hybrid, where the road of the engine meets the torque of the wrench, building champions on the track and in the trades. Get your tickets at IHRA.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All right, friends, it's the 5K a day bonus blitz. Your noon keyword is instant. INSTANT, instant. Enter the keyword instant into the WSB Radio app or at WSBRadio.com/cash. You have until 12:30 p.m. to enter the keyword and win $1,000. Keyword is instant. Don't forget, if you get a phone call after 12:30 from a number you don't recognize, answer it. Could be us telling you you won $1,000. Good luck.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now. Our research shows the number one fear for retirees: uncontrollable economic and market swings. And after the last 5 years, that's totally understandable. But here's the good news. Happy retirees are twice as likely versus unhappy to have a financial plan. A plan can calm those worries. My team at Capital Investment Advisors would love to help your family build a plan you can feel confident about. Just pick a time that works for you at yourwealth.com. That's YOURwealth.com.
Two similar homes for sale, same neighborhood, but the one with the Orchard sign sold for more. Why? Well, Orchard's local agents know what buyers want, make smart upgrades, and handle it all. Get your free home valuation at Orchard.com.
On this episode of The Real Houses of Atlanta.
HOA Hotline, Bobby speaking.
Hi, this is Susan at 3632, and I need your help.
All right, what's the problem, Susan?
Well, we got your letter about making home improvements, so we found a remodeling company we liked, and they seem legit.
Let me guess. They took off with your money.
Yeah.
Didn't you read the newsletter, Susan? This is happening all over Georgia. There are companies that fake it and take it. This is why we only trust Excavations in this neighborhood. They're honest, reliable, they do great work. They have thousands of 5-star reviews. This is why you read the newsletter.
I should have called Excavations.
Hi, this is Candace with Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. Avoid an HOA headache and let us give your home the facelift it needs. We'll introduce you to our ExoVision, our very own architectural design that allows you to envision your home's transformation before you even start the project. Ready for your on-time, on-budget, and stress-free renovation? Visit exovations.com and book your consultation today.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers. If you think you have a problem, we all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The 4 Things You Need to Know podcast, giving you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app, or by texting Eric to 33777.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. You know, so when we come back, Howard Lutnick was on Laura Ingram's show last night talking about the president wants to keep 600,000 Chinese communist students in the United States. A lot of these bad ideas come from Howard Lutnick that are coming out of the administration. There's some great members of the cabinet, Rubio and Bessent and Elisa McMahon and others, and then Lutnick's just got some bad ideas. But again, this gets to playing with fire that I think we're rushing into this stuff emotionally. And if it feels good, do it sort of thing. Take the Intel ownership. Elizabeth Warren was the first person to come up with the idea. Bernie Sanders supported her. Now Howard Lutnick's convinced the Trump administration to do it. And we just about wiped out ESG and DEI from these companies. Wait until a Democratic administration decides that they want 10 to 15% of ExxonMobil in order to give access to drilling or refining capacity or the like. You got to give us 10% of your company. And then they use the shares of stock to impose ESG and DEI after we've gotten rid of it. Now, I can hear some of you saying, but these aren't voting shares of stock. They are voting shares of stock. Howard Lutnick has said they're not, but they actually are. The fine print is these are voting shares that the government has gotten from Intel, and Lutnick is just saying we're choosing not to vote the shares. He can choose not to vote the shares, but what about President Newsom or Harris or Buttigieg? It's their shares to vote, and legally they're allowed to vote them. These are problems we got to consider. Now, I need you to go to ericforhillsdale.com today because you probably ought to sign up for the capitalism class. You know, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine this morning who's on the right who said he was hanging out with some friends, longtime conservatives, and they were lamenting profit and how profit is bad. And these are conservatives. These are like well-known conservatives. And he and I were just kind of gobsmacked at it. In capitalism, actually isn't bad. The free market is good, and the profit motive is actually fantastic. It's elevated so many people out of poverty. Take the capitalism class at Hillsdale College. Go to ericforhillsdale.com, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today with Hillsdale College. Take the class on the Federalist Papers. Learn about the checks and balances, and you too will conclude the Federal Reserve isn't constitutional, whether the Supreme Court says so or not. You learn a lot about the Constitution, learn a lot about capitalism, citizenship. It's all for free. There's no cost. Do it at your own pace. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today at no cost and get smarter about topics you care about.
Don't be late because you crowdsourced your commute with a navigation app.
This might become a travel advisory. Yeah, they're in 2 left lanes.
Depend on us.
See some delays if they shut that ramp down.
Make sure you get where you need to be on time.
Jam starting at Langford Parkway, getting past Spring Street.
Local and dependable traffic 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
WSB Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Happening right now, closing arguments have just wrapped up at the trial of a former state trooper charged in a high-speed crash. It happened in Carroll County. 2 teenagers killed. It happened a decade ago. A.J. Scott took the stand in his own defense, admitting to going 90 miles an hour when he slammed into the car full of teenagers along Highway 27. At the time, he had no lights or sirens on. The jury now gets the case. WSB's Veronica Waters is following. Mix of sun and clouds today. A little breezy. Afternoon highs around 82. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just over 2 minutes. The University of Georgia pausing new membership activity at the Sigma Chi fraternity after they received a complaint regarding hazing. A hazing and alcohol complaint was first reported to the University of Georgia campus police just ahead of the fall semester. It claimed that freshmen were forced to drink alcohol, quote, beyond their capacity. It also accuses the fraternity leaders of making pledges send in videos of themselves drinking alcohol during the summer. The Athens-Clarke County Police investigating since that fraternity is located off campus. Federal Reserve Board member Lisa Cook, who's also from Georgia, is firing back after President Trump says he's firing her, accusing her of mortgage fraud, one of the properties involved here in Atlanta. Karen Travers has the latest this afternoon from Washington.
We should note that these allegations have been referred to the Justice Department. It is not clear yet if they have investigated this. Lisa Cook is fighting back, saying that she is not going to resign and that the president has no authority to fire her, so this will likely end up in court.
Be sure and stay with us. Check back for updates as we will be following this story. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in the green. The Dow's up 7 at 45,289. NASDAQ is up 52, and the S&P is up 8. It's 12:32.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. to restore your love life in just one visit. Call now, 404-885-8885.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering the finest selection of unique European jewelry designs. Lee Brandt has natural and lab-grown diamonds with a large selection of engagement ring settings. Lee Brandt has serviced Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their trained watchmaker will service your Rolex in store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs, or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
If you're stuck in the brake lights leaving the airport on 7585 northbound from Highway 166 Langford Parkway, hang in there. They just temporarily blocked and reopened all lanes at University Avenue, exit 244. Crash moved off to the right there. Still jammed up at Ackworth into Kennesaw with the right lane construction 75 south at Wade Green and right lane construction 575 south at Bells Ferry. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly cloudy and cooler than average for today. High 82.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I got to tell you, there are days I get on air and I'm just thinking, man, I'm just gonna make my audience mad, and I don't mean to. And every once in a while, I just feel like I got to be the voice of caution here, that we get all excited about this stuff, and these become emotional decisions, and I don't know that we really are thinking long term. And we've just decided, I think, in the left and the right together have decided on each side, well, the other side's going to do it, therefore we'll do it first. And I think that's a terrible way to think and to operate in the political realm. This case is going to go to the Supreme Court, this Lisa Cook case, because the president's never fired a member of the Federal Reserve. And according to the way the Federal Reserve is chartered, some members the president actually has no control over. And Lisa Cook is one of those members. I think he should be able to fire her. This is going to head to the Supreme Court, though, and my guess is that the Supreme Court will say the president can't. Why? Well, first of all, you got 3 members who are going to oppose Donald Trump on whatever he does, and they only need 2. So the odds are already in the favor of Lisa Cook. And then you've got Brett Kavanaugh and John Roberts are institutionalists. And they believe we should be slow to tinker with institutions. And the way Donald Trump is doing this, no one has ever challenged the hiring structure of the Federal Reserve. The Supreme Court has already said it is independent, established by Congress. And so I think very much like what they did with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they're going to say that the structure is what Congress intended. It is fine, and the institutionalists on the Supreme Court will protect the institution of the Federal Reserve. And you and I can bellyache about it all we want, but it doesn't matter. What the Supreme Court says is what it's going to be. Now, what happens in the meantime? I think that some federal judge is going to enjoy the action, and Cook is going to stay on the Federal Reserve. That's just it. However, I want to make one point. One of the things I have noticed about where Trump is headed with this, so let's presume for sake of argument that the allegations and the documentation about Lisa Cook are correct, that she essentially took out 2 different mortgages showing 2 different primary residences, and that she got beneficial deals as a result. I'm seeing this tweeted by a guy named John Downs, who is a mortgage banker in D.C. Let me just read you this. I'm starting to think Lisa Cook's owner-occupancy fraud is actually worse than many understand. She closed one owner-occupancy loan June 18th and another halfway across the country July 2nd, 2 weeks between each. I'm curious if the lenders were the same. I can't imagine it would, especially considering refinances with both companies are taking 60 to 90 days. These applications would have been in process at the same time. Given market dynamics, if they were both going on at the same time with different lenders, you need coordination at some level. She'd need to lie on the inquiry letter saying the mortgage inquiry was shopping for rates and not referencing refinancing another property. She'd likely need to go to Freddie, because I don't believe that the flag of another owner-occupied property being in the mix like Fannie would essentially claiming she's taken two separate loans, claiming two different things, two different residences. Was she gaming the system? Here's the thing I've noticed about the Trump administration that I appreciate. One of the ways the Trump administration is targeting the wealthy progressive activists is a lot of wealthy people live life differently from you and me. And they engage in different crimes than you or I might engage in. They live a different life at a different level. They operate, the elite do, in different ways. And the Trump administration understands the ways of the elite and also how the elite might break a law that you or I could never break. And one of those is you buy in multiple properties around the country and you're claiming different things on each of them. And they've had a look-see and they're accusing Lisa Cook of mortgage fraud. Mortgage fraud is very much something the elite do. It's not something that you or I would do. We don't have the means. We don't have the multiple houses around the country, things like that. Here come the elite. And the Trump administration is targeting that way. And that's fair game. I just would caution everybody on this that the accusation is not the same as proof. And I think this does set up a fight for Trump to get to the Supreme Court, but I don't think he's going to get the result he wants because I think the institutionalists at the Supreme Court will save the institution of the Federal Reserve. Now, that being said, got to pivot to Howard Lutnick. Every bad idea from the Trump administration has come from Howard Lutnick so far. Tariffs, they're starting to have a real-world impact. What's funny to me now is that you've got so many people in MAGA cheering on the tariffs, and it's ultimately them. They don't even realize they're paying the tariffs. The tariffs are coming from consumers. They're not coming from the wealthy who have more means to avoid tariffs. They're coming from the middle class. They're coming from the companies the middle class works for, which is slowing the wage growth of the middle class. And Howard Lutnick came up with the idea, and he's got a lot of people cheering on tariffs that are actually hurting the middle class, and more data is showing they're starting to have a negative impact on the middle class and on hirings and on wage growth and on investment in companies. But people are cheering it on. Lutnick is also the guy who came up with the idea, first announced by Elizabeth Warren, to take a stake in Intel. And he has encouraged the president to develop a sovereign wealth fund and buy stakes in more companies. Howard Lutnick is getting Donald Trump to embrace socialism. He is getting Donald Trump to seize the means of production of companies. That's Howard Lutnick doing it. And the latest is the one that just hurts my brain. Howard Lutnick has convinced Donald Trump that we need to allow 600,000 Chinese communist students to stay in American schools. And Laura Ingraham, God bless her, got into it with Howard Lutnick last night. Listen to this. And also listen to how he pivots, realizing he can't defend the position. He goes to H-1B visas.
But the issue is a federal government.
Sorry, that's the wrong clip. Where is the Ingraham? Did it? Oh, gosh. Having built it up now, it looks like it never even showed up in the files. So in any event, Howard Lutnick goes on with Laura Ingraham and announces that we're going to keep 600,000 students in the United States. We're going to keep them because it's apparently good for the United States to have 600,000 Chinese communist students in the United States. I see what happened. I messed up this morning when I was processing the video files. Let me pull this audio for you. And he says we got to save schools in the United States. He is actually arguing with Laura Ingraham that we need 600,000 Chinese communist students to stay in American universities in order to save the American universities. Why do we want to save American universities? Why do we want to save them? By the way, it benefits the Ivy League more than anything. It doesn't actually benefit the SEC schools. It doesn't benefit the small private schools in America. It benefits the wealthy Ivy League schools. And I'm just not sure that this is a well-thought idea. But again, this is a Howard Lutnick idea, and he's been able to sell Donald Trump on it. Here's the exchange with Laura Ingraham.
I think the base of the Republican Party, certainly for the Ingraham angle for many, many years, conservatives, is this idea of foreign students coming to the United States and taking spots that would normally be, obviously open to American students. The president addressed this issue as part of the Chinese trade deal, which might be in the offing. Watch.
We're going to get along good with China. I hear so many stories about we're not going to allow their students. We're going to allow their students to come in. We're going to allow, it's very important, 600,000 students. It's very important.
Mr. Secretary, with all due respect, how is allowing 600,000 students from the communist country of China putting America first?
Well, the president's point of view is that what would happen if you didn't have those 600,000 students is that you'd empty them from the top, all the students would go up to better schools, and the bottom 15% of universities and colleges would go out of business in America. So his view is he's taking a rational economic view, which is classic Donald Trump, looking at higher education and saying,
but why are you
until
helping
we
Harvard?
Modify that.
That just
What's
helps
that?
Harvard and UCLA and UCal Berkeley and I mean, y'all helping those schools. Why? They're like, basically factories of anti-American propaganda. And now they're getting a big influx of cash because of the Chinese students. I know President Trump has always been very pro-Chinese student. I just don't understand it for the life of me. Those are 600,000 spots that American kids won't get.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm involved in. I'm involved in changing the H-1B program.
Here, the pivot. I'm involved in the H-1. No. Howard Lutnick is the guy who convinced Donald Trump we need 600,000 Chinese communist students to stay in the United States. He's in charge of the socialist takeover of Intel. He's in charge of tariffs. He's in charge of letting Chinese communist students. Notice that he's embracing Chinese-style state capitalism. That's what they call it. This takeover of Intel, state capitalism. That's the Chinese Communist Party's model. And he's involved in keeping Chinese communist students at American universities. I'm starting to wonder what else is going on with Howard Lutnick there, considering he's embracing Chinese-style state takeovers of companies and wanting Chinese communist kids to stay in American universities. 600,000 commies depriving 600,000 American kids of seats in colleges. And he says, it keeps these universities in business. No, it keeps out American kids who would go to those colleges. They can't go because the Chinese communists are there. And by the way, if a college in the United States of America were to go out of business because it couldn't get a sufficient supply of Chinese communists to keep it in business, I'm okay with that college going out of business. I'm not sure why Howard Lutnick thinks we need Chinese communists to subsidize American universities. Let the universities go out of business if they require subsidy from the Communist Chinese Party, which is where these students are coming from. And then they're going back to China with the knowledge they've acquired from the United States, with the intellect we have developed. They're going to go deploy it for the Chinese Communist Party. I don't think this is wise at all, and all of these bad ideas are coming from Howard Lutnick. We need to rethink Lutnick. This is not good stuff. All right, I got to tell you about Swiss America, because with everything else that's happening out there and gold prices wobbly and it's just wild in the markets right now, Swiss America wants to protect you from the secret war on cash. They can educate you to protect your hard-earned assets. Now you can get their report completely free, The Secret War on Cash. You get it for free by calling or texting my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. The All-Out War on Cash includes digital forms of currency, and it's spreading. You get The Secret War on Cash report completely free. You just text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646 or call 800-289-2646. Tell them Eric Erickson sent you. They'll send you the report completely for free. It'll help you with your retirement, your finances, your hard-earned money. 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Let Swiss America help you. Message and data rates may apply.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1248, Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Some better news downtown. That crash all off to the right, 7585 northbound up at University Avenue, exit 244. So delays leaving Langford Parkway have started to improve. Southbound still seeing some brake lights, 7585 south starting in Midtown from 17th Street down toward William Street. Jammed up out of Woodstock into Kennesaw with that right lane construction, 575 southbound at Bells Ferry Road, exit number 4. You can use Highway 5. 75 southbound still not pretty out of Ackworth into Kennesaw with that right lane construction on 75 south at Wade Green Road, exit number 273. You can use Highway 41. And you got left lane construction in Lawrenceville, Highway 316 eastbound at Duluth Highway. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of Common Threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
No way! The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
I just won $1,000 from WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2
I am
p.m.
so excited.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
Hey homeowners, it's Eric Erickson here. Do your windows and doors stick? Are you noticing cracks in the drywall or the brickwork? You might have a big problem. Serious issues need the serious experts at Engineered Solutions of Georgia. Their skills are unmatched, as are their foundation solutions. When these guys repair a problem, it's the last time you'll have to worry about it. Done once, done right. Start today with a free inspection. Go to ESOGrepair.com. That's ESOGrepair.com.
Dial 678 ESOG now.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Motorcycle riders know that a distracted driver can knock you down. It's nice to know that Steel Horse Law can pick you back up. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. In the worst possible scenario, when someone causes you to lay your bike down, Steel Horse Law will get you the best possible settlement. Their name strikes fear in the heart of big insurance companies because Steel Horse Law is respected and will make them pay. Visit steelhorselaw.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
The key to unlock the next breakthrough in cancer research could be sitting in your driveway. Stand Up to Cancer's vehicle donation program makes it easy to turn your unwanted vehicle into funding to support innovative cancer research. So when you're looking to get rid of your old car, truck, motorcycle, RV, or boat, why not donate it to Stand Up to Cancer? You can be a driving force in cancer research. Donate your car today. Visit standuptocancer.org/cars to learn more.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Giving you the truth, not the talking points. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello, my friends. The phone number 877-973-7425. Let me go to the phones. Eric in Edgewater, Florida. You're going to be up first. Welcome.
Great start of the show today, sir.
Thank you.
I just wanted to get your input. I was led to believe that the Federal Reserve is actually not federal. It's a private bank. And it was founded in 1913 along with the IRS. And before that, the United States got its income from tariffs. I'd like to hear your educational take on this.
Okay, so it was created by an act of Congress in 1913. It actually is a federally constructed institution, a federal bank, so to speak. And over time, Congress has given it more and more power. It's got two missions. Its one mission is to lower unemployment, keep unemployment low. Its other mission is to keep inflation low. And oftentimes those missions contradict with each other. There had been a series of financial panics in the country, and this goes back historically to the fights over whether or not the United States could or should have a bank. There are a lot of nerds who get very worked up over the idea of a United States bank and also the Federal Reserve. I tend not to be. When people yell the gold standard to me, those tend to be the obsessives, and my eyes glaze over, and I move away and try not to make eye contact with them. The Federal Reserve is in charge of putting money into our banking system, and the way they do it is they hold all the cash, and banks borrow the money from the Federal Reserve at an interest rate, at a bank rate, and then banks increase that rate and lend the money to us, and that's how the banks make their money. So banks get money from the Federal Reserve at about 4.5%. They pay interest on, and then banks up that to, say, 6%. So the banks are making a 2% profit off the money, and they're paying back to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve restricts money into the American economy when inflation is too high. It dumps money into the economy when inflation is very low. They can stimulate the economy. The primary purpose was to provide stability by keeping the politicians out of controlling the banks in the country. They've actually worked very well. People are very suspicious of them. There are lots of conspiracy theories. There are lots of people who think they're unconstitutional. I'm actually in the camp that the Federal Reserve is structured unconstitutionally. The U.S. Supreme Court has refused to believe it. There are a series of banks around the country. Those banks put the members of the Federal Reserve System in place, the Board of Governors. The issue with Lisa Cook is that she was not a political appointed by the president. Well, she was confirmed. Actually, I take that back. She was one of the political appointees by Biden. A number of the Federal Reserve members are put there by the banks, like the Bank of New York and the like. And the president can't fire those people. Cook was actually appointed by Biden, so Trump technically should be able to fire her. The Supreme Court has never specifically ruled on the entire charter and structure of the Federal Reserve. They have referenced it before. There have been a number of cases about it. And they, on their own, it's called sua sponte, when the court, without it being before them, raises an issue. Recently, in a matter of the president firing people within the federal government, noted that the Federal Reserve is independent and the president can't fire them. That was kind of the tell for me and others that they're gonna support the Federal Reserve. Now, why do you want a independent banking system? Some people don't. Some people think if the Democrats get in charge, they should be able to wreck the economy with the Federal Reserve, and if Republicans get in charge, they should be able to fix it, or other side would say wreck it. I kind of like the idea of an independent central bank that is aloof from the political maneuvers of the day. It breeds all sorts of conspiracy theories, and whichever side is in power thinks the central bank is out to get them. But it provides a lot of stability that countries like China don't have in their monetary system. Provides way more stability than we used to have. And a lot of people right now get the luxury of wanting to get rid of the Federal Reserve, knowing it's not going to happen, and also not having a sense of history of how bad things were before then. Now, to your other point, Eric, about tariffs, tariffs went away as our economy globally integrated and the income tax became a thing. Remember, we used to not have a federal income tax. The Constitution was amended to allow the federal income tax, and our dependence on tariffs went away because the revenue from tariffs was less stable for the government than revenue from income from the wealthy, which tended to be more stable, and that helped the country, for better or worse, grow. When we come back, more of your phone calls, and also the crime wave in Chicago.
when the news matters to you.
The FAA says the flight crew was reporting possible smoke in the flight deck.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
Beef prices are going up.
Your 24/7 news source.
They had no ties to a gang, but they were killed by
when
them.
you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protectyourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid, and this news is sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. The jury getting the case this afternoon in the Carroll County vehicular manslaughter retrial of a former state trooper whose car hit a car full of teenagers in 2015.
Anthony Scott's defense attorney calls the deaths of Kylie Lindsay and Isabella Chinchilla an absolute tragedy. At the same time, he's looking to raise doubt on what caused the accident, pointing out alcohol bottles on the scene and that Lindsay might have been crowded into the front seat, limiting the driver's visibility. The prosecutor counters by telling jurors the defense wants them to look everywhere but at Scott. She says this is a case about speeding and Scott's choices, which changed lives and took some lives away. He was reckless, she argues, and responsible, and therefore he's guilty. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Another beautiful afternoon on tap. We will have a mix of sun and clouds, breezy. Afternoon highs 82, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook, who is from Georgia, is now moving to file a lawsuit challenging her removal by President Trump. According to an attorney for Cook, the president has no authority to remove Cook, and the firing lacks any factual or legal basis. Cook's removal follows a Justice Department criminal investigation into the board governor after she was accused of making false statements on home mortgage applications. If Cook does sue, the case could end up being decided by the Supreme Court. Well, this coming up April, would be the 90th year for the Atlanta Dogwood Festival. But we've learned today, without additional funding, it may not happen.
I mean, we've cut costs. We've looked at different ways to increase income. COVID has had a long-term knock-on effect for not just us, but festivals around the country.
That's Executive Director of the Atlanta Dogwood Festival, Brian Hill. He says that they need to raise $250,000 by November 1st to cover the 25% budget shortfall. If not, the festival will not happen. And so there's an urgent call now for individual and corporate support to save the city's longest-running fine arts festival. As of now, it is set for April 10th through the 12th at Piedmont Park. Hartsfield Jackson now has some new therapy dogs on hand. Hartsfield's Karen Ellis telling WSB how you'll be able to spot those therapy dogs.
You will see them. They have on a vest, and sometimes they have on a handkerchief that's around their neck, so you can see that, and they'll have Pet Me on it.
And she says the idea is to provide comfort for those missing a flight or a connecting flight by providing those roaming dogs. She also tells us there is a therapy cat at Atlanta's big airport as well. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow's down 6 at 45,275. NASDAQ is in positive territory, but only slightly, and so is the S&P. It's 102.
Skip the hassle of constantly cleaning and costly repairs and sell your home completely stress-free with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Sean Hannity here. Now's a great time to sell your home in Atlanta as home values have continued to rise and your home may be worth more than you even realize. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can receive the strongest cash offer in the industry and close within days. Find out what the guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com and you can start packing.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us. and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
School's back in session, but that doesn't mean the summer heat is taking a break anytime soon. And to beat the heat, Coolray has options to help your home comfort score an A+. Dave Baker here for Coolray Heating and Cooling, Plumbing and Electrical. Right now, Coolray's offering up to $2,250 back in rebates and free installation with the purchase of a complete Carrier system. Proper insulation is a perfect summer sidekick for your HVAC, keeping cool air in and hot air out, and it's free. Bonus points. So, now that your HVAC is passing all the tests, let's look at your plumbing. Mr. Plumber, a Coolray company, is currently offering $100 off any plumbing service. From aging water heaters, I just got a new one of those, to clogged drains, Mr. Plumber has you covered. Say hello to cool comfort and smooth flowing plumbing all season long. Simply visit Coolray.com to schedule your appointment today. It's that easy. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
It's 1:05. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center with a look at your roads.
Just had some trouble clear in Cobb County on the 285 ramps to I-75 or the 285 westbound ramp to I-75 northbound. Still seeing a few brake lights on 285 west back into Sandy Springs, but that is getting better. Jammed up 575 southbound out of Woodstock into Kennesaw with that right lane construction at Bells Ferry Road, exit 4. Use Highway 5. 75 south stacked in out of Ackworth. You also have right lane construction in Kennesaw at Wade Green Road, exit 273. You can use Highway 41. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy, breezy today with a high of 82. The northwest wind gusting 20 miles per hour, pulling in more of that cool, dry air for tonight. Lows dropping to the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 83. Increasing cloud cover Thursday, high 81.
It is 77 degrees in Tucker and Woodstock here in Midtown Atlanta. We have 78 degrees. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
America. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, there is the largest, greatest, most important breaking news in all of America. This is bigger than anything else on planet Earth or in the universe. This breaking news, I am reliably informed that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are now engaged. Yeah, listen, for a segment of the universal population, there is no news greater on planet Earth than that. Pictures have been released. And it is a ginormous diamond on her finger. So, nonetheless, just I keep you up to date on all of the news, all of the breaking news. It's very important that you know these things. Now, I'm going to start this hour with a phone call because it's such a good point, and I'm beating myself up for not having made this point. And those are the best calls to highlight. Greg, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Eric, this was worth waiting through the break for. Let me tell you, I cannot believe you didn't think of this.
I'm killing myself for having not thought about it.
You're a gun owner, and I'm not a Glock guy, but I forgive you. Wow. But we're going to put a nail in the coffin of this most idiotic idea of the government taking ownership in U.S. companies like Intel. It is madness. It must stop. As a Reagan conservative, it makes my blood boil. But let's get in the time machine. We're going to fast forward to President Newsom and he announces that the United States government is going to take ownership positions in all of the major U.S. gun manufacturers like Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Palmetto State Armory, Mossberg, you name it. And then they're going to start to vote, and wow, you can only get a 10-round magazine. And the AR platform rifles disappear from the market. I mean,
it's Greg. It's for national security.
It's coming.
It's for national
It's
security,
national
Greg.
security. Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
This Lutnick is the biggest boob in the government. The guy has got to go.
Yeah, amen. Man, I again, I'm kicking myself, but now I'm going to steal this. I'm going to give you credit for it, though. I do want you to know.
Take it and run with it, my friend. This
listen,
just it hit me yesterday. I was at the range with my son, and we coined the new term, shoot every gun Sunday. So we shot my shotgun, we shot all the pistols, and then we went to the shotgun range and shot trap for an hour and had a blast Sunday afternoon.
No pun intended. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that. Although my kids, he's suddenly gotten into golf. Listen, Greg, I appreciate the phone call, and I am going to riff on this for a little bit. Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, convinced Donald Trump that for national security reasons, we needed to take a 10 to 15% stake in Intel. Howard Lutnick said to the public that they will not be voting shares. We actually now know from Intel itself and from the federal government that what they got are voting shares, but Howard Lutnick just says the Trump administration will not vote the shares, except as management wants them to. So for those of you who don't own shares in a company, you just own mutual funds or some such, what happens is, like, for example, I own shares in Apple. And every year for the shareholder meeting, I get a letter from Apple, and it says, we want to continue these people on the board, and we want you to vote for them. Some shareholders want us to do this one thing that we don't want to do, and so we would like you to vote against it. And you send your form in, and that's it. What Lutnick says is we're going to vote the way the management wants us to vote. So if Intel wants them to renew the board, we'll renew the board. If they want us to vote for a shareholder resolution, we'll do it. If they want us to vote against, we'll vote against, whatever the management says. But that's not binding on the next administration. That's just what Lutnick says the Trump administration is going to do. Then, of course, behind the scenes, as the largest shareholder, they can push Intel to do things that they then vote for. So we're doing this, Howard Lutnick says, because of national security concerns. You know an easy way to do what we're doing with Intel without actually engaging in federal takeover of a major private company? Congress could pass a law that says only microchips made in the United States can be purchased by the federal government for military use. All the manufacturers would start making microchips in the United States. If they want to be bought by the federal government, all you have to do is say, for national security reasons, and listen, I'm opposed to tariffs and stuff like this. I'm pretty free market, but I recognize that national security concerns have to trump some things, and I'm fine with Congress passing a law saying the microchips that are purchased by the government for defense have to be made in the United States. We would create a market in the United States for national defense without the government taking over a company. You can also cut taxes. You can say companies that make microchips in the United States won't have to pay income tax for 5 years. That'll incentivize them to come to the country. You can deregulate. Literally, I mean, you could give them tax credits and tax exemptions. There are lots of things you can do without taking 10% of the company. But Howard Lutnick told Donald Trump we need 10% to 15%. The number's actually in dispute as to how much it's going to be. 10 to 15% is the range. And we got to do that for national security concerns. We have an ammunition shortage in the United States. That's what the Trump administration's been telling us. We have an ammunition shortage in the country. That's why we've got to slow sales to Ukraine. So for national security purposes, I think the federal government should buy stock in the companies that make ammunition. And that'll be a giant injection of equity into those companies they can use to expand their manufacturing facilities domestically to build ammunition in the country. And then When Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg or Kamala Harris becomes president, they can convince that ammunition company that you can't make certain rounds for civilian use and suddenly drive up the price of ammunition. Supply and demand, they reduce the supply. Or buy stock in Remington, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Daniel Defense, force 10% of the company into the government's hands, and then start restricting sales to the public of those firearms. I mean, it's a national defense issue, folks. This is national security. The government needs a reliable, stable supply of handguns, machine guns, semi-automatic rifles, and shotguns for the military, and they got to come first. It's national security. China's on the rise. This is a serious issue. The government needs to buy a 10% take in the handgun manufacturers and the rifle manufacturers and the shotgun manufacturers and the semi and automatic rifle manufacturers. They need to inject that capital into those companies in exchange for stock, and then they can have voting shares and start twisting those companies to the business of the government. This is where it heads. You can't stop it. You've opened the door with Intel, saying it's a national security issue. Why then is it a national security issue with ammunition? We have an ammunition shortage in the country, according to the Trump administration. You know, a great way to improve the ammunition supply in the country is an injection of equity into one of these companies, giving them a lot of money to build new facilities. In fact, the Trump administration is playing off of plans from the Biden administration to expand an ammunition manufacturing depot in Iowa. They're going to help this company in Iowa expand its facilities to be able to manufacture a lot of ammunition, including like 135 millimeter rounds, or 155 millimeter rounds, rather, that are in huge supply in Ukraine. Why doesn't the government buy stock in the company and the company uses the money from the stock purchase to build out the facility? The government gets an equity interest. The company gets the money. They build out the plant. The government gets first dibs on all the ammo and then can use its shareholder clout to start restricting it. This is where you head when you cede the ground in Intel and say it's national security. Well, you know what's more national security than microchips? Guns and ammo. Missiles, guns and ammo. So you start buying up shares in those companies. You start restricting what they can do to the public sector. You start restricting the supply of ammunition. You may not be able to ban the public from buying ammunition, but you can drive up the price and put it out of the reach of most people. It's just supply and demand. This is where these things head. I didn't think about the gun angle. Thank you, Greg, for putting it on the radar. But let's just see where this goes. You've opened the door now, Republicans. We're going to be real hard for you to tell Democrats no when you yourselves supported it. This is why you got to think about the long-term effects of these things. This is why I'm concerned about the president firing a member of the Federal Reserve without having any evidentiary finding that the evidence as presented is real. It doesn't need to be a criminal court. You don't have to wait, I don't think, for a criminal finding of guilt in a situation like this, but you do need to show it by the preponderance of evidence, and that's not a one-sided argument based on conjured documents from the Trump administration. Somebody other than the Trump administration needs to verify that the documents are real, and if they are, you fire her. Otherwise, we're going to have the Gavin Newsom administration concocting documents that aren't real, and before anybody has a hearing, say, look, we got these documents. It proves they committed fraud. We're firing them. And who's going to be able to stop them? The process protects our rights as much as anything else. The process protects our rights. Our founders were very smart people. They understood through the star chambers and the like that you speed up the process, you jeopardize people's rights. They wanted it to be a slog to get anything done in this country at the federal level. Gridlock is actually a feature, not a bug of the system. By slowing it down, making the process difficult, it ensured our rights were protected. By insisting on things like due process and innocence until proven guilty, they protect us. When we start breaking it down, you give up the right to complain about the other side doing it. And when you say, well, they're going to do it even though they haven't, you're just making an excuse for yourself. And when you say they have already done it, you need to show the examples and distinguish and nuance. Is it the case? And this gets back to the flag example. The number of people online saying people are going to jail for burning pride flags. You're right. A guy in Iowa was sentenced to 15 years in prison, not months, years in prison for burning a pride flag. He stole it from a church and set it on fire. He stole it. It wasn't his. That part of the story gets left out. The kids who left the tire tracks on the pride flag crosswalk, they damaged public property. Their charges were dropped, by the way. Ultimately, they didn't go to jail, but it was still stupid they'd be charged. I think it's stupid to have a pride flag crosswalk. People are literally going to walk across it. They're going to spit on it, maybe by accident. They're not paying attention. The tires are going to scuff it up. It was virtue signaling by the left. They never should have done it. Kudos to Florida for painting over their pride flag crosswalks. But it was public property, and there have been cases of people defacing the public property because they didn't like it. It wasn't their crosswalk. It was the public's. You deface public property, you go to jail. You tear up stop signs, you also get punished. I think the hate crime charges are stupid and unconstitutional, but these nuances do matter, folks. You got to be thoughtful and reasonable people about this. Rushing towards emotion on all this stuff, your anger and your rage and your need for revenge, it's going to trap you into precedents the other side uses, including if you can buy stock in Intel on the grounds of national security, you can buy stock in gun and ammo manufacturers on grounds of national security, even more so than Intel, and then use your shareholder clout to restrict sales to the public and do an in-run around the Second Amendment. And just wait for Democrats to do it, and we will have seeded the ground for them.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
120 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Still watching the work zones northwest. Right lane blocked 575 southbound in Kennesaw at Bells Ferry Road, exit 4. You're jammed up out of Woodstock. You can use Highway 5. 75 southbound, not any better. You're slow out of Ackworth from Highway 92 down to that right lane construction zone at Wade Green Road, exit 273. Highway 41, a good alternate there. And if you are traveling downtown, 75-85 southbound, you're seeing some volume from 17th Street down toward William Street. Left lane construction in Lawrenceville wrapping up 316 eastbound around Highway 120 Duluth Highway. So you are seeing a little bit of volume there. 316 westbound also slow through that work zone. 75 southbound on the south side. I'm seeing some brake lights from Stockbridge clearing Hudson Bridge Road. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
Online,
on the app,
where you get your news,
is where you'll win.
Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
All right, thank you. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Oh my word!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 2 p.m.
Those wire shelves in your closet are just a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. Dave Baker for Artisan Custom Closets. At Artisan, we see it all the time. The wire shelves come crashing down. Clothes, shoes, bags are everywhere. It's a disaster zone. Save yourself before this happens to you. With a custom, spacious closet from Artisan, you'll never have to look at that clutter again. Your shoes, bags, clothes, accessories, all neatly organized and designed to stay that way. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Plus free premium delivery with any smart bed and adjustable base. Ends Labor Day. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
If you are 50 or older, it is recommended that you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, a potentially serious bacterial lung disease that can disrupt your life for weeks. If you're an adult 19 to 49 with certain underlying medical conditions like asthma, diabetes, chronic heart disease, or COPD, vaccination is also recommended. Talk to your doctor about vaccination today and learn more at lung.org/protectyourself. Furnished by the American Lung Association in collaboration with Pfizer.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program. Brenda, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Hi. When you hear the two stories back to back, they don't make sense. If we're so concerned about national defense that we have to take over basically a private company, then why aren't we concerned for national defense when we have 600,000 Chinese communist students coming into our universities?
Brenda, why are you using logic? You're not supposed to use logic, just emotion. Yes, exactly right. We have 600,000 Chinese students coming into this country who are going to repatriate to China. We know that to get a job there, you got to be a member of the Communist Party. And so we are training the future of the Chinese Communist Party in this country. If it's a national defense issue for taking over Intel, it should be a national defense issue for this. You're absolutely right. Unfortunately, nobody wants to use logic anymore. It's all very emotional, and that just frustrates me.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, look, I appreciate the you tying that together. I don't know that I'm cut out for this age where everybody's so emotional about everything. The amount of people from my side who are mad at me for saying maybe Trump shouldn't just fire Lisa Cook without something more than an accusation. Why? How dare you say this, you traitor? A bad take from a conservative. And I was like, you don't want it done to our side. Why are we set the precedent for the other side? Why do we want to keep 600,000 Chinese students in the United States, but then we need to control Intel for 10% and all? It's all based on emotion. And you tend to make bad decisions when you're doing things emotionally. It's why sometimes I get hangry. And when I get hangry, so when people travel with me, my assistant literally texts them to remind them to make sure I eat because I am notoriously an a-hole when I am hangry. And they got to make me eat. And before I make business decisions or personal decisions, I got to eat. Otherwise, I make bad decisions because of its emotion. And we need to stop being so emotional. You need to stop being emotional about your technology needs and just let Vision Computer take care of you. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com and talk to them. They can build you a new machine. They can upgrade your current machine. They can take everything on your existing machine, as long as it's Windows 11 compatible, move it to your new machine, have it all set up the way that you have it already. So it's like you get your old computer back, but everything just works faster and better. They can service your machines. If you're got a managed IT service for your company, they can help you with that. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Tell them Eric sent you. You're going to save some more money. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Vision builds great machines. They actually have world-class tech support as well. You call them 15 seconds or less, you get the answer. You don't have to email them. You just pick up the phone and call them. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com.
I'm Chris Chandler. Coming up Wednesday on Atlanta's Morning News, Triple Team Traffic gets you to work or class on time. And why Clark Howard says the worsening customer service at Amazon is not all Amazon's fault. Join us starting at 5 on WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. The fate of a former state trooper now in the hands of a jury in Carroll County. Former state trooper A.J. Scott charged in a high-speed crash that killed 2 teenagers a decade ago. He admitted on the stand to going 90 miles an hour when he slammed into a car full of teens along Highway 27. He had no lights or sirens on at the time. The jury now has the case. Mix of sun and clouds today, breezy and nice out. Highs around 82, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Lisa Cook has filed a lawsuit now to stop President Trump from removing her from the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. The president put out on his Truth Social last night a letter he'd sent Cook saying that he was firing her for cause. The president's cause is an allegation that Cook may have applied for 2 mortgages in 2 states, one of them here in Georgia, claiming each would be a primary residence. The University of Georgia pausing new membership activity at the Sigma Chi fraternity after it received a complaint regarding hazing. The Athens-Clarke County Police investigating since the fraternity is located off campus. And finally, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce engaged. They've been dating for more than 18 months. Taylor Swift making the announcement on her Instagram page today. The NFL star getting down on one knee asking for her hand in marriage. They are both 35 years old. No word yet on a date for the wedding. It's 1:32.
Dave Baker here for Coolray Heating and Cooling. It's August, which means school is back in session. Hey kids, remember homework? Coolray will help keep you cool while you study at home. Right now, Coolray is offering up to $2,250 back in rebates and free insulation with the purchase of a complete Carrier system. You know, proper insulation is like a summertime sidekick for your HVAC, keeping cool air in and hot air out. Simply go to Coolray.com to book your appointment today. Coolray and Carrier. Turn to the experts.
Start your day refreshed with a delicious breakfast sandwich deal from Quick Trip. Choose from classics like the sausage, egg, and cheese croissant, the ham, egg, and cheese biscuit, or the melty bacon, egg, and cheese grilled cheese. And get ready to really wake up because it comes with
any small Red Bull of your choice, all for $5. Woo! Let's go!
That's any breakfast sandwich.
Plus a Red Bull for just $5. Yeah!
QT.
More than a gas station.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark Retire Ready Bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Just had a stall. They blocked and reopened all lanes down by the airport. 285 eastbound, the outer loop past Riverdale Road, exit 60. Delays starting to shake out there. Elsewhere, still slowed with that construction. 575 southbound at Bells Ferry Road in Kennesaw. That's in the right lane. And right lane construction. 75 south at Wade Green Road, exit 273. You're jammed up there back into Ackworth from Highway 92. Use Highway 41. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 82, cooling down for tonight into the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 83. Thursday, increasing cloud cover with an isolated rain shower possible, high 81.
Right now on Peachtree Street, we have sunny skies, 78 degrees. We'll have more news at 2 o'clock, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Got the courage to tell you the truth, because the truth is what matters. You're listening to The Eric Erickson Show.
Hello there. It is Eric Erickson here. We have a mild respite from any news about Donald Trump for probably the rest of the day. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. She turned the corner in a park and saw a massive mound of roses and an arch, and just assumed that it was a normal day in her world until Travis Kelce knelt down and pulled out a 2,000-carat ring from his pocket and put it on her finger. She now is walking, leaning over on the left side, weighted down by this ring on her finger, smiling in agony as her arm is dragged to the ground, but she is engaged. The new album is going to be something, isn't it? But, she's already recorded this album. Listen, y'all, I've been to 5 Taylor Swift concerts in my life under duress. My wife really is phobic about crowds, and so I have taken my daughter to 5, count them, 5 Taylor Swift concerts in my life. I went to the last one, and an older man was sitting by himself downstairs in like a little club area with his noise-canceling AirPod Pros on, watching TV. And I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, "Sir, you are my hero." But I know all about Taylor Swift because my daughter has been a match. She's kind of outgrowing her, particularly as Taylor's got more vocal in politics, and they don't really align with my daughter. And her last album wasn't that great, but she's already now recorded this new album. She's going to have to go add tracks to it. Actually, with Taylor Swift, what you know is going to happen is she's going to release the album, and then she's going to release an update to the album with extra songs about getting engaged so that you will buy both albums lining her pocket. She's an incredible businesswoman, and people will pay. I will move on now to Chris, calling from Jacksonville, Florida. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Hey, Eric. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I just wanted to say I have a generalized agreement with you on the treacherous nature of taking these corporate stakes. I have a lot of experience, running companies and being on boards, and also have been in the government sector. So I think it's a very, very slippery slope. But I think you really have to look at Intel, their CEO and their board. That company got into a pickle. Trump came after the CEO for being tied in with the communists. CEO came to Washington, throws this deal on the table. Hey, we'll give you 10%. Trump, being a businessman, is like, well, I'll take it. At this point, I think the best the country can make out of this deal is to say there was a notion that Bessent and some others and some senators have been forwarding of creating a separate trust fund for these type of corporate stakes to supplement our Social Security trust fund. So say you take the Intel piece, you take the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, a few of those things, put it in the Social Security trust fund. But I think the bigger picture issue is when the Democrats get back in control, they're going to put a lot of pressure on these boards, and these boards are mostly full of very weak people that just fold because they want to keep their board fees. The CEOs, unless they control the company, are the same way. And, you know, it's a generalized mess to really having the government get involved with business.
Oh, yeah.
And
so let's take the sovereign wealth fund in Norway as a good counterexample of what's going on. And by the way, this goes to the larger issue. If they want a sovereign wealth fund, they want to grow it. And I think it was Kevin Hassett actually yesterday on CNBC mentioned that it could go towards paying down the debt or solving the Social Security trust fund problem.
Yeah.
In the Norwegian one, because there's so much corruption out there when it comes to sovereign wealth funds from Saudi Arabia and elsewhere, the way the Norwegians are set up is it's got to be run by the central bank, which is set up like our Federal Reserve, independent of politics as best it can be. It also has to avoid investment in Norwegian companies to avoid political ramifications. So that helps get rid of the corruption. It's run by the central bank. It's regularly audited. Every transaction has to be revealed within 48 hours, I think, and no investment in companies from Norway. So compare that to this, where no such safeguards or anything like that, no transparency behind the scenes. It's going to be problematic, and it's going to ultimately fester corruption, as these things tend to do. And then again, it opens the door to investment elsewhere. I got one more on this because my boss pinged me and that I'm missing something else. How many of your fantasy football leagues are now in jeopardy because Travis Kelce is now a happy man and going to get married? How is he going to be able to help Mahomes now? Those of you in Kansas City right now, you're listening in Kansas City. What does this do to the Chiefs? I mean, you know, when they first got in the relationship and he was super happy, he kind of started sucking on the field out there. What's it going to do? Now, let me say this. In all candor and honesty here, and this is, listen, I realize this is a pop culture moment that a lot of you don't care about. Whether you like Taylor Swift or not, she's a cultural icon and a cultural force, and a lot of young women who may not really pay attention to what pop stars and celebrities and stuff do. Actually, Swift has a lot of influence on culture. She actually does have a lot of influence on the culture of young women and even some young men in this country. She is getting married, engaged to a manly man, not one of the little emo pop stars she's embraced in the past, but a guy who likes to drink beer and play golf in his free time and has a great family relationship with his brother. They're going to get married. How many young women? There's a real marital divide in this country right now, where you've got conservative young men. They're spending their time in the gym because the progressive young women of America, they are not interested in marrying. They're not interested in the young men. You have young men increasingly going to church and going to the gym, not actually going out on dates with young women. How many of those young women are going to see Taylor Swift engage now to a guy like Travis Kelce, who's a football playing, golf playing, beer drinking kind of bro? All the stuff that progressives have maligned as toxic masculinity, and she's embracing that guy. She's dated lots of other young men, all of whom were largely in her industry. None of them could hold a candle to her career. Now she's engaged to a man in a completely separate career who is established in his own right. How what do you think the cultural impact of this is going to be? There actually is a story here. And then she has kids. Because, I mean, that's going to be the next logical step is they're going to have kids. They're going to get married, and they're going to have kids. Are we going to have a baby boom in this country because of Taylor Swift? If there's something to be celebrated here, we can be dismissive of it and say, oh, my gosh, we should talk about it. You all have never been to a Taylor Swift concert. You don't appreciate the cultural impact she has. I have lived with a young woman who will turn 20 years old next week, who for most of her life has been a Taylor Swift fan. As she's gotten older, her tastes have more spread out. She's less a Swiftie than she was, but she still pays attention. Interestingly enough, one of the reasons my oldest has kind of become, she's not a fan of Taylor Swift. She's just got more well-rounded views now. Is it impact culturally? Taylor Swift's positions on politics and things like that, and my kid is at a point where she's taken her faith very seriously. She's interested in and found somebody she wants to date or anything like that, but she's definitely take her faith more seriously, and she's interested in marriage. And here comes Taylor Swift now, engaged and interested in marriage. She has a massive impact on the lives of young women in this country. And they see her as an independent young woman. They think they can be too. And now they're seeing an independent young woman saying, you know what? I want to be married. And I don't want to be married to just anyone. I want to be married to this big, tough guy who plays football, who I can take care of myself, but it's kind of nice that he can take care of me too. And he can have his career and I can have my career, and then we can make babies. And you know what? That's going to have an impact on society. Don't be dismissive of it. You can say, Erickson, you're off your rocker. If you're saying I'm off my rocker, you probably don't have girls in your house. I have one. She likes Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Taylor Swift. And she probably listens to Taylor Swift more than any of the rest of them. And her father, because of his job, was able to text her in the middle of her class today and tell her news that she did not know because, well, her father does news for a living and she was in class and had no way to get the message that Taylor Swift got engaged. So I texted my wife, and my wife says, I already heard it from Evelyn. And I had to ask, who did Evelyn hear it from? Her father, who was ahead of her on the news. Again, I realize it's a silly moment. We're not going to hear anything about Donald Trump for the next 24 hours because the news is going to obsess over this. But just why? And it is a serious moment here. Like it or not, she's a cultural icon who is deeply influential in young women. The data shows that young men in this country are increasingly becoming conservative. And you're actually, for the first time in American history, you're actually seeing more young men going to church and taking faith seriously than young women. I see it in my house. I went up to get my son up on Saturday morning to go to a Braves game. I let him sleep in. It's like 11. He's a teenager. He sleeps late. He had his Bible on his bed with his glasses on top of it. He had been reading his Bible before he went to sleep. He had been listening to Jordan Peterson for a while, and Peterson talks about taking your faith seriously. He started taking his faith seriously. He's been reading his Bible, and that's happening with a lot of young men in the country. And they're turning to faith, and they're going to the gym, and they're hanging out with other guys, in large part because the young women decided to assert their independence in life, and they didn't need a man. They don't want a man. They're too good for the men. They're better educated than the men, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you're seeing these young men looking for wives, and the young women have no interest in it. And suddenly, because Taylor Swift is interested in it, I guarantee you a lot of young women are going to realize, oh, if marriage is good enough for Taylor Swift, it's good enough for me. Maybe I should go find a guy to settle down with. And then when these two have kids, which they will do, more likely than not, it'll be, oh, Taylor Swift can put her tour on hold to have kids. I should be able to do that too. And it will have some change in culture. And it's actually going to be a good change for culture if it happens, as I suspect that it will, because we're increasingly, young men and young women are dividing along very tribal partisan lines. young women becoming much more progressive, educated, and deciding they don't really need a man. The men becoming more conservative, more religious, actually have typically less education than women these days. And they're looking for young women. They're going to churches. They're not necessarily finding them. That may change. That may change. And so, one, you should never root against two people falling in love, getting engaged, and getting married. But two, this actually is a culturally significant one, given who she is and the influence she has on the lives of a lot of young people in this country. So absolutely wish them well and hope that maybe it gets young women and young men back to dating and getting married and having kids. It'd be good for society to have more married families with kids. Didn't expect to have that news today, but here we have that news. Now, I got to tell you, when you do have kids, your kids are at some point going to be interested in how do I save money? Where do I put money? What do I do with things called checks? What is a check? That's where Old Glory Bank comes in. If you go to oldglorybank.com/smart, they have a curriculum you can use with your kids as part of a homeschool curriculum or around the dinner table to help them get educated in their finances. oldglory.com/smart. There's no cost to it, by the way. No cost. Oldglory.com, Old Glory Bank, rather, oldglorybank.com/smart. You go to oldglorybank.com/smart. You have all the resources from Old Glory Bank that you can help educate your kids on how do you make money, how do you save money, how do you grow money, how do you handle investments, what's a bank account, how do you get a bank account, what's the difference between a checking account and a savings account, and what's the use of them, and how do you acquire debt and build credit and pay off your debt, and things like that. It's all there, oldglorybank.com/smart. And then when they need a bank account, they can get one from Old Glory Bank. It's a great online bank. I've got a checking account and a savings account with them. oldglorybank.com/smart. oldglorybank.com/smart.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150 Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Some better news for those traveling 575 south between Woodstock and Kennesaw. I'm seeing on the Jam Cam crews picking up the construction barrels from the right lane on 575 southbound at Bells Ferry Road, exit 4. Still slow from Highway 92, but once every barrel is gone, that will improve. They're still in the right lane, not picking this one up yet. In Kennesaw, 75 south, right lane construction at Wade Green Road, exit 273. Still jammed out of Ackworth, Highway 41, a good alternate there. Rolling left lane construction in Sandy Springs, 400 northbound, passing Northridge Road, exit number 6, causing a few delays from the North Springs MARTA station. And still seeing some volume downtown, 7585 southbound 17th Street, down toward North Avenue. Luckily, no crashes in the way, just that afternoon volume starting to fill in there. Traffic brought to you by True Natural Gas. They could report aliens have landed, but that wouldn't be true. Here's something that is true. True Natural Gas offers low rates and great customer service. Visit TrueNaturalGas.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Buying a new car? Need help fixing your current car? What's the safest car for a first-time buyer? The Car Guys have the answer. Join Shelley Winter and automotive expert Kevin Deutsch this and every Saturday at 12 for all your car needs. The Car Guys, presented by Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, Saturdays at noon on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi, I'm Trisha, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where we're all about you, your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Are you looking for a style that's classic, modern, vintage, or something in between? Not sure? At Shane Company, we're here to help. We have so much style under one roof because a friend knows you like options. Drop by or visit us at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Guys, it's Eric. Save thousands right now at Georgia Spa Company on a new spa for your backyard. They've got great opportunities to save on saunas, cold plunges, swim spas, hot tubs, so much more. The Labor Day sale is happening now. They've got multiple Metro Atlanta area locations. Go to georgiaspacompany.com and check out their locations, find the deals, get you some relaxation in your backyard. georgiaspacompany.com.
If you've ever organized your closet only to have it look like a bomb went off in there 1 month later, then it's time to call Artisan Custom Closets. Dave Baker here with a custom spacious closet from Artisan. You'll never have to deal with all that clutter again. ArtisanCustomClosets.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, you can skip the hassle of constantly cleaning and costly repairs and sell your home completely stress-free with a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now's a great time to sell your home in Atlanta as home values have continued to rise and your home may be worth more than you even realize. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can receive the strongest cash offer in the industry and close within days. One of their clients, Chris, said, quote, Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer allowed us to sell our 16-year-old home without having to spend thousands on repairs. It also eliminated all the stress of showings, constant cleaning, negotiating. Their guaranteed offer was more than we were hoping for, and the whole process was fast. With nearly 10,000 five-star reviews, Mark Spain Real Estate is the most trusted and experienced real estate team in the U.S. Find out what the guaranteed offer would be on your home. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com and get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and you can start packing.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Get Eric's daily show prep email. Text DATA to 33777 and you'll be in the know.
Welcome back. It's Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the phone, Nancy, let's go to you. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Great.
Well, yeah, I was appreciating your comments on Taylor Swift kind of inspiring another generation of girls to actually get married, even if they can be independent and so forth. I'm a pastor's wife. I'm a therapist, a marriage therapist, and I do see, women sometimes resisting marriage, but there's still an awful lot of guys who are not really showing up in church. They're not really popping the question. They're not really thinking, and they're doing more of that kind of avoidance. And so I just wanted to kind of add that to the mix. I mean, I know the stats are showing less and less people are getting married, and the ones who get married, it's still at about, 50% that don't make it. So my thought also on Taylor is that, can she really stick it out? That's kind of in question for me. So the generation that's going to go along with her, they're going to be looking for that leadership also with that. And I'm just not sure she's going to bring it. But I do hope you're right about the men. But I counsel an awful lot of women who are struggling with that question of, I really want to be a mom. I really want to have children. I'm a successful, businesswoman, and the men are just afraid of me. They just don't want anything to do with me because I make more money than them, or I, am confident and that kind of stuff. So I don't know what you think about that.
Isn't it funny to see two sides of this coin? Because, there's a lot of data. The Institute for Family Studies at the University of Virginia has so much data on this, and that there are so many young women now in that position, and they're intimidating the young men. The young men are looking for relationships, and it could very well be the young women are thinking, well, I'm intimidating the guy. It takes both sides, of course. But I do think, and I would say in your background, I think you can attest to this as well, that the pattern of couples that tend to stay together are the ones who get really committed to also a faith community and work through their church together. That, people talk about, well, Christians divorce at the same rate as non-Christians. True for self-described people. But when you start asking people how often you go to church, the ones who are there every week are the least likely to get divorced anywhere.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, and that's something to get the word out too with, I think since COVID, that is church attendance. Some people left and never came back. And if they're self-sufficient, they tend to kind of stay away. And then once they have a need, they're not embedded in a community already. Right. And so they really suffer. They suffer from lack of help, but they also suffer from lack of being able to give and offer their gifts and offer their just the rewarding elements of being part of a community like that. But
Nancy,
yeah,
I got to let you go there. We got about 15 seconds,
thanks.
but thank you very much. Yeah, folks, I mean, get in church, get plugged in, get married, have kids. It builds a stable society. It actually does build a stable society. When we come back, crime in Chicago.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
I've listened to many arguments, and there are good arguments to say that we shouldn't. So I'm just saying.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
This is the only way to do it. Some people are going to lose their job, and then they're going to be put back in the job.
Eric Von Hessler, today at 3.
It's about you. You're being celebrated.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
This is Scott Slade, and nothing takes the place of time when it comes to spotting problems with your health, especially cancer. The earlier the better. That's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging's LDCT core body scan can be invaluable, giving you more time for you and your loved ones to take charge of your health. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. Due to overwhelming demand for a limited time, their $995 core body scan offer has been extended. It's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response to this offer that they've opened up more times in both offices, but appointments will fill up fast, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. The jury gets the case this afternoon after closing arguments in the Carroll County vehicular manslaughter retrial of a former state trooper whose car hit a car full of teens a decade ago.
This was an accident, an accident, an accident. So says Anthony Scott's attorney Mac Pilgrim to jurors in closing, arguing the weight of this fatal crash is not solely on him. In particular, he points out alcohol bottles nearby. Carroll County Assistant DA Heather Waters counters this is not a DUI case, it's a speeding one. And she says Scott was reckless, going twice the limit and ignoring speed limit signs. The last minute of her closing was quiet, illustrated with photos of the bruised, bandaged boys in the hospital and smiling photos of the two girls in life. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
84 degrees in Atlanta, feeling more like fall in the morning, while you may need to grab a jacket when you get out of bed. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. In an unprecedented move, President Trump announces he is firing Federal Reserve Board of Governors member Lisa Cook, who's from Georgia. Legal expert Lori Levinson says it may not stick.
I think many experts will say that this is an illegal firing.
Cook plans to file a lawsuit challenging the order by President Trump. The president accuses Cook of mortgage fraud. One of the properties is a condo in Atlanta. After a complaint about hazing, the University of Georgia pauses new membership activity at the Sigma Chi fraternity. It claims freshmen were forced to drink alcohol, quote, beyond their capacity. It also accuses fraternity leaders of making pledges send videos of themselves chugging alcohol during the summer. The Athens-Clarke County Police Department is investigating since the fraternity is located off campus. The Medical College of Georgia opens their newest regional campus at WellStar's Kennestone Hospital in Marietta. Dr. David Hess, Dean of the Medical College of Georgia, says this is their first regional campus in Metro Atlanta.
60% of our students, 60, come from the Atlanta area, so an Atlanta campus makes a lot of sense.
Hess says their multiple regional campuses are a pipeline to keep doctors in the state. 24 students will learn at the new campus each year. A springtime tradition in Atlanta is in danger of ending without financial support from the community.
This coming up April would be the 90th year for the Atlanta Dogwood Festival, but without additional funding, it may not happen.
I mean, we've cut costs. We've looked at different ways to increase income. COVID has had a long-term knock-on effect for not just us, but festivals around the country.
Executive Director of the Atlanta Dogwood Festival, Brian Hill, says they need to raise $250,000 by November 1st to cover the 25% budget shortfall. If not, the festival goes away. Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
The post on social media reads, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced today they are engaged. Swift is about to release her 12th studio album, and Kelce is preparing to play his 12th season with the Kansas City Chiefs. It is 2:03. This news sponsored by Brett Becker's. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Dave Baker here for Cool Ray Heating and Cooling. It's August, which means school is back in session. Hey, kids, remember homework? Cool Ray will help keep you cool while you study at home. Right now, Cool Ray is offering up to $2,250 back in rebates and free insulation with the purchase of a complete carrier system. You know, proper insulation is like a summertime sidekick for your HVAC, keeping cool air in and hot air out. Simply go to coolray.com to book your appointment today. Cool Ray Carrier. Turn to the experts.
You know how many times people call me to fix their garage door so they can sell their house? For years, they put up with the squeaking and the jamming, or they don't even use it because they lost the remote. Then when it comes time to sell, they fix it up nice for the next guy. For the exact same money, you can fix it up now and enjoy it yourself while you still live there. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. An expert repair, replacement remote, or garage door tune-up will give you years of trouble-free service. Works great for you, works great for the next guy when you decide to sell. Because you deserve to live in a house as nice as the real estate ad you're going to write about it. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and maybe enjoy your garage door so much you decide not to move. Think of the money that'll save.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Fall's almost here. That means football, tailgates, friends stopping by after school events. So make sure your home is guest ready. I'm Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash had my house, deck, driveway, even my roof looking brand new in just one day. Their soft wash protects your home from any chipping or peeling while making it shine. Their certified technicians will have your home looking its best for everybody coming by. So mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off at WiseGuysProWash.com. Book now before the schedule fills up.
It is 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Seeing a slow zone on the south side, Bill. Good afternoon. 75 northbound. You're jammed up on that 75 north ramp to 285 west, the interloop there in Clayton County. The reason for that is they just escorted an oversized load safely through that hairpin ramp, so everything back open. Those delays will improve. 400 northbound slows through Sandy Springs with rolling left lane construction passing Northridge Road exit 6, and right lane construction continues in Kennesaw 75 south at Wade Green Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy, breezy today with a high of 82. The northwest wind gusting 20 miles per hour, pulling in more of that cool, dry air for tonight. Lows dropping to the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 83. Increasing cloud cover Thursday, high 81.
81 in Midtown now. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a Day Bonus Blitz. This hour's keyword is BOAT. B-O-A-T. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBRadio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is BOAT. Join me live at 3 for the Von Hessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5.
Hello, America. It's Eric Erickson here. The third hour of the program, we can move beyond the Swift-Kelce engagement news. There's more happening in the world than that. But the media is going to obsess with it for the next 24 hours and probably drown out most other conversations. The phone number, 877-973-7425. Get to your phone calls here in a bit. But first, I got to talk about this crime situation in Chicago. Now, a lot of stuff is being blown out of proportion. So the president has suggested he's going to send National Guard soldiers to Chicago to deal with crime. And when you actually study what he's going to do, they're not there dealing with crime. They're actually there to deal with illegal immigrants and round up illegal aliens. But his thinking on the matter is by virtue of being there, it's going to help with crime. Just by having the National Guard in the city, on the south side of the city where there's a lot of violence, that's going to help crime. Now, an interesting thing happened at the Democratic National Committee yesterday. They're having their meeting. It is they're all just like super wackadoo progressives there. They did their land acknowledgement. They booed a resolution that related to Israel having a right to its own nation state. And they had a briefing on a presentation on polling. And in the polling, they argued that the phrase serious about safety is better messaging than tough on crime. And Dave Weigel, a reporter for, I think, where is he now? Semaphore? Got this. Let me read for you the slide. When given a choice, voters overwhelmingly favor a serious about safety approach over tough on crime. This is from a YouGov May 2025 national survey commissioned by Vera Action. Even if neither is exactly right, which of the following statements comes closest to your view? We should do more to get tough on crime, like having tougher sentences for people convicted of violent crimes, maintaining strong bail laws to keep dangerous people in jail, and providing police with more support and resources. 40%. 60%. We should fully fund things that are proven to create safe communities, like good schools, jobs, and affordable housing, and help prevent crime by increasing treatment for mental health and drug addiction, and by getting illegal guns off the streets. Now, let me just tell you here, as someone who used to do polling for a living, that's a terrible polling operation. You were essentially asking two separate things, and which statement comes closest to your view? Well, I want good schools and jobs and affordable housing, and want to prevent crime by increasing treatment for mental health and drug addiction, or we need tougher sentences on people convicted of violent crimes, maintaining strong bail laws, and providing police with more support. Which comes closest to your view? We should do more to get tough on crime, or we should do things that are proven to create safe communities? Well, I want to do things that are proven to create communities. You're essentially taking two positions, claiming that they're related to each other and claiming, well, this works better than that, except it doesn't work. Now, first of all, you should know, who is Vera Action that conducted this polling? Vera Action is a dark money group funded by George Soros. George Soros' organization, now run by Alex Soros, very progressive son of George Soros, is the largest donor for Vera Action, and they are committed to the progressive cause about cashless bail, and we need mental health reforms, and we need more social workers than police, all this sort of stuff. For multiple years now, Vera Action has been selling Democrats soft on crime talking points, claiming that more and more people like them, and in fact, they've been rejected. And I noticed something on Morning Joe this morning. They had on the mayor of Chicago, and Joe Scarborough is definitely to the left of where he was, and he would say that the Republicans have moved. No, I think both have moved. Joe has definitely moved to the left. And there's a thing that happens that I appreciate about watching Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough, when he starts pushing ever so gently back against the left. It should be a warning sign to the left that you got problems. It should be a warning sign. He very gently raises red flags for Democrats, saying this is a problem. All he did today on his program was he interviewed the mayor of Chicago. And he asked him a simple question that the mayor of Chicago could not answer. Just listen to this exchange.
So let me ask you, Mr. Mayor, those all sound like great programs. I'm curious, would you also like to get federal funding to help put 5,000 more cops on the street in Chicago? Would that help drive down crime?
Well, look, policing by itself is not the full strategy.
No, I understand that. You've talked about the other things you want, and I said those are good and important programs, but I'm asking also, would 5,000 more police officers on the street in Chicago be helpful to go along with all of those social programs that a lot of cities are engaging in and having success with?
Well, look, here's the best way I can put it, Joe, is that in the 90s when I was in high school, we had 3,000 more police officers and we had 900 people being murdered every single year in Chicago. It's just not policing alone. Of course, we want more detectives.
I know it's not policing alone, but I know it's not policing alone. You've told me everything else you want. I'm curious, and this does come down to an ideological difference between people. Do you believe that the streets of Chicago would be safer if there were more uniformed police officers on the streets of Chicago?
I believe the city of Chicago and cities across America would be safer if we actually had, affordable housing. Look,
okay,
I'm not saying that
that's not the question I asked. My question.
And it goes on and on and on from there. Notice the mayor's response, affordable housing. This gets back to the Vera Action, which is the progressive group funded by the Soros organization, that they believe the talking point is we need safe communities, good schools, jobs, and affordable housing. And then they don't want to answer, do you want to be tough on crime? They don't want to answer that question. They dance around that question. By the way, if you text Eric to 33777, I've got that in the show notes today. You can see it for yourself. You can see it for yourself. The Democrats don't want to answer the question. They simply do not want to admit they don't want police. It should be a very simple question, shouldn't it? Would it help you reduce crime if you had the money for 5,000 more police officers in Chicago? All he's asking you is, would it help you? He's not asking you, do you want the money? He's not asking you, are you going to lobby for the money? He's not asking you where the money's coming from. He's just asking, would it help if you had more police on the streets? Would it keep Chicago safe? And the mayor of Chicago, who is a progressive leftist, he can't answer the question. So the president of the United States is going to send National Guard troops to Chicago. Now, they're not actually there for a law enforcement function. That's the way they're being talked about by the administration, but it's actually for illegal immigration roundup. See, the police in Chicago are prohibited from working with the federal government on detaining illegal immigrants. So the National Guard, because it's a federal issue, the National Guard can go in and perform that role. And the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois cannot stop the president of the United States from sending the National Guard in for a federal function. They can't stop him. What's going to happen here? You got the mayor of Chicago who can't even acknowledge that people are unsafe in Chicago. He can't acknowledge that police would be a good thing. It's just going to show the rest of America how bad on crime the Democrats continue to be. This is a resident of Chicago interviewed on TV, I think on News Nation.
Our children can't walk around the community without fear of being hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life.
Don't feel it in the quality of life. The numbers they're expressing, we don't feel it in the quality of life. Same thing happening in Washington. You got, what is it? It's white people who are progressives on television insisting crime is down, and black residents going on TV saying, we don't feel that. Not only that, you got listen to this. This is Jennifer McClellan, a congresswoman from Virginia.
What ICE is doing is not making us safe. The Trump administration is treating immigrants, generally, undocumented immigrants specifically, as criminals. But I remind people, being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime.
Actually, it is. And notice she says they're treating Democrats, specifically undocumented immigrants. So apparently, if you're an illegal alien, you're a Democrat. And she says it's not a crime, and it is, and most people know it is, and the Democrats just can't be truthful about it. My friends who are Democrats who are hate listening right now, this doesn't end well for you. It doesn't end well for you. If you're not willing to be tough on crime, the voters will reject you. If you're not willing to make people feel safe in their homes and their neighborhoods, the voters are going to reject you. They did this in 2024. You insisted everything was fine. You insisted everything was fine. And voters knew it wasn't true. See, here's the problem. I'm writing about this for World Magazine and the data on the Democrats right now, the Democratic Party collapse. See, if you are a high-income earner and you're white and you have advanced degrees, you are more likely than not progressive. And you live in a neighborhood with other white high-income earning progressives, and you have the highest employment rate in the country, you have the lowest crime in your neighborhoods, and you are least affected by inflation. So you can say crime is not bad, and the economy is good, and inflation is okay, and the rest of America is hurting. And what has happened is more and more Americans, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, they are affected by crime. They are affected by inflation. They do have high unemployment, and they're mad. And they've joined forces to support Donald Trump against you because you told them the country was fine, and it is for you in your lily white neighborhoods, and it's not for anybody else. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. Your progressive white enclaves may be safe, or you may not mind the crime. I mean, listen, there are progressives like the woman in Chicago who tweeted that she got her arm broken in a carjack and she still doesn't want federal help to solve crime. There are some progressives who they virtue signal that about living in unsafe areas, that it's good for them, it's good for their soul or some such. It's kind of whacked out, but there you have it. Most people don't want to live like that. Most people want to be safe. And they understand that safety comes by seeing the men in blue on the streets, keeping the criminals contained and arrested and off the streets. And people on the left have forgotten that they just, there's this brokenness on the left now that they think, particularly in urban and suburban areas, that crime is just a side effect of living there. And you should have to deal with it. No American should feel unsafe in their neighborhood. No American should feel unsafe where they live. And yet the left thinks that crime is just a way of life in parts of the country. And that's not good enough for most Americans. And that's why they're voting for guys like Trump.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Cool-Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Looks like that rolling left lane construction should be wrapping up in Sandy Springs on 400 northbound near Northridge Road, exit 6. So the brake lights should start to shake out for a while right around Abernathy Road. What's not improving is 75 south between Ackworth and Kennesaw, where they still have right lane construction past Wade Green Road, exit 273. Highway 41's a good alternate. Starting to see the volume pick up. 285 eastbound, the inner loop in Doorville, leaving Buford Highway. A lot of that traffic trying to get on to 85 north to make their way up to Jimmy Carter Boulevard through Norcross and Duluth. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's the WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. This hour's keyword is BOAT. B-O-A-T. Go to the WSB Radio app or WSBradio.com/cash for your chance to win. Again, that keyword is BOAT. Join me live at 3 for the Von Haessler Doctrine, and I'll have your next keyword and chance to win at 5.
When markets get rocky, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Hi, I'm David Nicholas, president and founder of Nicholas Wealth Management. Times like these demand action and a plan you can trust. That's why we rely on our trademark retire-ready bucket strategy. This strategy is designed to place a percentage of your portfolio into lower risk, income-producing income bucket, aiming to generate steady cash flow for the first 10 to 15 years of retirement. Meanwhile, your growth bucket is filled with dividend and growth stocks, which has time to recover when markets are going crazy. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com to schedule a time to sit down with our team to review your plan. This strategy was crafted by experience. It's battle tested, and it's how you aim to keep your retirement on track even when the markets are not. So call Nicholas Wealth today at 678-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. At Nicholas Wealth Management, we're prepared. Are you? Don't wait for the next headline to shake your confidence. Call Nicholas Wealth today, 888-990-8500 or visit nicholaswealth.com. Nicholas Wealth Management. Retire ready.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Neither the information nor any opinion expressed is to be construed as solicitation to buy or sell a security or personalized investment, tax, or legal advice.
You know how many times people call me to fix their garage door so they can sell their house? For years they put up with the squeaking and the jamming, or they don't even use it because they lost the remote. Then when it comes time to sell, they fix it up nice for the next guy. For the exact same money, you can fix it up now and enjoy it yourself while you still live there. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. An expert repair, replacement remote, or garage door tune-up will give you years of trouble-free service. Works great for you, works great for the next guy when you decide to sell. Because you deserve to live in a house as nice as the real estate ad you're going to write about it. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and maybe enjoy your garage door so much you decide not to move. Think of the money that'll save.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-200-1966 or biglou.com.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
Imagine the relief of windows without annoying drafts or high energy bills. Window Comfort's making it easier than ever with buy two, get two free, no payments till 2026, and expert one-day installation. Go to windowcomfort.com for your no-pressure estimate today.
Better prices, better views. Window comfort, meant just for you. Window comfort.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Welcome back. It is Erick Erickson here across the nation. Tyler, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Good. How you doing? It's always a pleasure to be on and speak to you.
Thank you.
I was going to talk about adding more cops in places like Chicago. They wouldn't need to do anything like that if they were actually tough on the criminals. So many cities like Chicago and D.C. and Atlanta, it's so many repeat offenders because they just let them off or give them cheap bells or whatever. And so they get back out on the street and do it all over again and again and again and again. And the money they would save if they were tough on the criminals to not need to hire more cops, they could use to have housing for the homeless and this, that, and the other to better the communities. But it all starts with being tough on the criminals with the district attorney and stuff.
Yeah, look, there are a lot of cities that could use more police, but you're right as well that the DAs matter, and it's been interesting how in a lot of states around the country, the progressive DAs that were funded by the Soros outfit have been losing their reelections. We had here in Georgia, in Athens, Clark County, where the young lady was murdered by the illegal alien. The local DA lost to an independent bid. Signatures collected, independent ran, and coalition of Democrats, Republicans, and independents all came together and ousted that DA who was very bad on crime. And it's happening in other parts of the country as well. It's happening down in Florida where they're ousting progressive DAs. It happened even in San Francisco, remember? They ousted in a recall the left-wing Soros-funded prosecutor there. And they've actually seen a real crackdown in crime in San Francisco. It's still bad, but it's far better than it was with that guy. It is having prosecutors who are willing to prosecute matters, but having more police does too. And a lot of communities have reduced the number of police, and also it's harder and harder to find people who want to be police because they've been savaged so much. They're treated as bad guys everywhere, and people just don't want to put up with it. And who can really blame them? When you and your family's lives are threatened and harassed because you decided to serve your community as a police officer? But the more police officers there are in a community, the safer it tends to be. And having aggressive DAs who prosecute the criminals instead of tickling them and sending them away, that matters too. It's a symbiotic relationship between them. You know, Americans for Prosperity has been battling for conservative crime reforms in this country for quite a while. They are a great group. They advocate common sense conservative reforms around the country, like school choice and deregulation on businesses and lower taxes. They got activists in all 50 states. They'd love to have you involved. And right now, they're committed to a 250,000 Steps for Freedom challenge. Not you taking 250,000 steps, but 250,000 people taking one step for freedom in this country will measurably improve the country if they can get you on board. You go to afpvolunteer.com today to sign up. afpvolunteer.com. Sign up with AFP. Take just one step in your community to expand freedom in your community. They've got you a great guide on how to do it, how to participate, what they're thinking. And if you do it and 250,000 other people do it, we will have all taken some great steps for freedom in time for our 250th anniversary of a nation. Seek the welfare of the community where you live. There you'll find your welfare. That's what AFP is committed to. Go to afpvolunteer.com and sign up and take a step for freedom in your community. Take the 250,000 step challenge for freedom as we head to 250 years as a country. afpvolunteer.com.
WSB's looking for a home for Smidgen. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News, and she is our dog of the month. With Paws Atlanta, we're looking for Smidgen's new family. Sweet brown and white mixed breed, about 2, great for older kids. Meet her at WSBRadio.com. Our sponsor, Findlay Roofing, will pay the adoption fee for you, too. WSBRadio.com/dog.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. The Atlanta Dogwood Festival is in danger of having to shut down due to rising costs and lack of money.
We need $250,000 to be able to go forward with it because we're not going to enter into contracts that we don't feel that we are guaranteed to be able to cover.
Brian Hill, executive director of the Dogwood Festival, says they're looking for individual donations and support from local businesses. He says they need to raise the money by November 1st, or there won't be a 90th annual Dogwood Festival next April. A Carroll County jury gets the case in the vehicular manslaughter trial of a former state trooper who hit a car full of teens 10 years ago. Anthony Scott's defense attorney calls the deaths of Kylie Lindsay and Isabella Chinchilla an absolute tragedy, but he's trying to raise doubt about what caused the accident. The prosecution argues the defense wants jurors to look everywhere but at Scott. The FBI is helping investigate after a number of universities across the country have been dealing with active shooter hoaxes. Police say in most cases someone used a temporary phone number and apps to mask their voice to cause a panic. The alerts have been sent to schools like the University of Arkansas, University of Colorado Boulder, Iowa State, and Kansas State University. YouTube TV users may not have Fox after tomorrow. Fox and Google are currently in a carriage dispute. YouTube says it may remove channels including Fox Broadcast Network, Fox News, and Fox Sports from its TV streaming platform if it doesn't reach an agreement. YouTube says it will provide a $10 credit to users if Fox content goes offline for an extended period. It is now 2:32. This news is sponsored by FGA Roofing.
Guys, it's Eric, and you can save thousands right now at the Georgia Spa Company on a new hot tub, cold plunge, sauna, swim spa. Why? The Labor Day sale is happening now through September 1st. You got manufacturing rebates happening now you're not going to see for the rest of the year. I've got a hot tub from Georgia Spa Company. I got it in my backyard. I get out there, and it is perfect relaxation. And I'll do it in the summertime, even when it's hot out. But now, with the fall coming, with the temperature settling down, with a cool breeze in the air at night, it is the ultimate in relaxation. You can certainly share it with your friends and family. I throw everybody out, spend the night in the dark, looking at the shooting stars. It's ultimate relaxation. It is good for me to do. It's good for you to do. Go Go to GeorgiaSpaCompany.com today. They've got multiple Metro Atlanta locations. Take advantage of these massive manufacturing rebates on hot tubs, cold plunges, saunas, swim spas, and more. It's GeorgiaSpaCompany.com. The Labor Day sale happening right now.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Back to school season is busy, but making your home shine doesn't have to be. I'm Chris Chandler. Wise Guys Pro Wash had my house, driveway, deck, even the roof looking spotless, and I didn't even have to be home. Their soft washing keeps everything safe, no damage, just results you will love. And with more than 2,000 five-star reviews, you'll see why everybody's calling Wise Guys. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service. Book today at wiseguysprowash.com.
234, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
And it looks like trouble just cleared 400 southbound between Sandy Springs and Buckhead before Lennox Road exit 2. Brake lights still back to Glen Ridge. Well, that will improve. And still right lane construction in Kennesaw. 75 South Wade Green Road exit 273. Jamming up the ride out of Ackworth. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, high 82, cooling down for tonight into the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, high 83. Thursday, increasing cloud cover with an isolated rain shower possible, high 81.
And right now, beautiful outside in Metro Atlanta. It's 81 in Cartersville, 82 right now in Conyers, and 81 in Fairburn. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Tackling politics and culture with clarity.
Greetings, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number is 877-973-7425. We got to talk more about what we talked about yesterday. No Country for Old White Men. It's actually kind of startling to me, the number of texts I've had, emails I've had, phone calls I've had from a couple of friends. There was the book and the movie No Country for Old Men, and it really does seem like we are no country for old white men in this country. It is a country now where the H-1B visa holders are taking jobs typically at lower wages, and they're replacing Americans. In fact, I'm hearing from more and more Americans across racial lines, I might add, not just white guys, and a few women too, that they are now being charged with training their H-1B visa replacements. They'll be let go soon once they've got the new guys up to speed. It's a wild story to hear, and we've heard these time and time again. I think Disney at one point was accused of replacing Americans with H-1B visa holders. The tech space is notorious for us. I've gotten so much feedback from people in the tech community that they lost their jobs because the company decided to bring in H-1B visa holders, and they were able to doctor the paperwork to justify it enough to be able to do it. And it brings wages down. It displaces Americans in favor of foreign immigrants, and it festers a lot of division and hostility in the country that otherwise wouldn't exist. What I am most alarmed by in all of this, though, is what appears to be a pattern and practice in companies across the board, not just technology, that if you're in your 40s and 50s and you lose your job, well, God bless you, have a nice life, don't outlive your 401k because you're not getting a new one. You're not getting a new job. I honestly, I knew that this was a thing to a degree. To the extent that it is a thing, I had no idea. I mentioned this yesterday and I don't know that the guy's going to get the job, but he had a good interview apparently. We'll see where it goes. And it is a uniquely American phenomenon, and this company's not American. So I belong to something called the Broken Tea Society. It's a golf group. I don't know this person at all. Guy lives in Nashville, has been out of work for a while, has a child who has some medical issues, and got to the point where he was selling some really nice golf equipment on eBay just to make money to survive because he'd had 8 different interviews. Same thing happened. Gets to the final interview, highly qualified, overly qualified. Young white woman in California gets on the call, realizes he actually is a 40-year-old white male, and that's the end of that. No job. The same pattern happens with Workday. You know, Workday is that HR software that there's now a massive lawsuit against Workday that if you were rejected from a one Workday job, you were going to be rejected from every one. And I know people who have applied to dozens and dozens of jobs. And in one guy in the lawsuit, 80 jobs rejected from every single one without so much as a callback. And it appears the allegation is the Workday algorithm. If you were rejected from one job because you were middle-aged white, you're going to be rejected from every other job that uses Workday. Even though they're separate companies on separate systems, the algorithm crosses across the plane. At least that's the allegation. It's unproven, but it's enough that a judge is proceeding with the lawsuit, and it could be a class action of 10 to 15 million people against this Workday company. The algorithms are blocking people, and when the algorithms are not blocking people, it's the young white HR heads with the pronouns in their signature line who are blocking people, and the targets tend to be middle-aged people, not just men, but mostly white men in this country. And it's not just the name of diversity. The thinking is that they hire someone who's in their 20s. They're going to be able to train that person in their ways, but also they can replace the middle-aged white people of America with the H-1B visa holders from abroad and get skill sets for less. The white people are too expensive. The black people are too if they're American. Something's got to give on this because you're going, again, we are an emotional people. We're in an emotional age. We're in postmodern times. That's a fancy way of saying we live in an age where people are guided not by reason and logic, but by their emotions. Logic doesn't matter anymore. And people more and more on both sides of the aisle and outside of politics altogether are willing to cut off their nose to spite their face. And if we have industries in this country where it is easier to replace an American with a foreigner for the same work, for cheaper, Americans are going to tear down the H-1B visa system, and it's starting to happen. Companies are their own worst enemy. I had a conversation with a friend of mine this morning, and we have a mutual friend who is unquestionably conservative, who is arguing now that you know, that profit is bad, that the desire for profit is a bad thing. The desire for profit is actually a very good thing. It's the desire of money that's the bad thing. And that's a hard thing to nuance with people. When you make a good or product or you offer a service, you should get rewarded for it, and you're in an arm's length transaction with someone else, and you can make a lot of money. If your desire is for the money and not for the good or service, that's the problem. If you enjoy your business and you make good money, God bless you. The profit motive is actually the thing that keeps society working. Everyone wants your money. Some people just lie about it and mask it as some noble intention, but really it's all about money at the end of the day when it comes to basic economics, and vilifying people who want to profit. That's not a good thing, and it's happening. Now, where I vilify people when it comes to the economy like this, and a lot of hedge funds and private equity companies like this, is that money and profit are the byproduct. In a free market system, the money is the byproduct that you want. It's like the honey is the byproduct of the bees system, and we want the honey, we want the money. Yeah, it rhymes, it's not intended to be, but money's the byproduct. What is the product? Well, an actual product, a physical good or service that you are selling to someone in an arm's length transaction. And how do you arrange that transaction? You arrange it by barter so that you get something from them, and if there is no barter, a service or good from them in exchange for your good or service, it's money. And you use that money then to go get the good or service that guy didn't have that you want. Money's the byproduct. And the acquisition of the growth of the money because your service or your good is so valuable, people are willing to pay a lot of money or trade a lot for it. That's actually a good thing. You've improved your service. You've improved your product. Do you make it more valuable so you get more money? Everyone benefits. People may spend more money, but now they get an even more valuable, useful good or service. The problem is in like private equity and hedge funds where money is the product. They are taking a company that makes a good or service and they're finding a way to monetize the company. And yeah, I do think that's wrong. There are a list of companies in this country that make inferior products now because the hedge funds and the private equity companies decided that they could produce an inferior product, rely on the reputation of the company as they devalued the product, still make the same amount of money, and then when the company went broke, well, they've structured it so they can cash out and still make money. That, I think, is a problem because it's taken money from being the byproduct to the product. Increasingly, companies are treating human beings as expendable and ancillary commodities in a business. That's why I think AI is a problem. You know, yesterday I used AI to help me with my afternoon podcast, and it actually I was so busy arguing with it, so I used a ChatGPT yesterday, and it wanted to tell me that Kimber Abrego Garcia is a legal alien in the United States. It's like, no, he's not. He's an illegal alien. And it insisted that he was. And I spent so much time arguing about it that I missed it change some of my words about cashless bail into President Trump getting rid of cash bail. It's like I didn't even catch it. It's like, no, he's getting rid of cashless bail. And I put that in, that he's getting rid of cashless bail, in addition to the AI telling me that Abrego Garcia is a legal citizen. It changed Trump's getting rid of cashless bail to cash bail, and I missed it. And that just tells me AI is not where it should be. It's still a garbage product, and yet companies are thinking they can get rid of human beings and rely on a flawed AI system because human beings are no longer valued in a lot of companies. Value is breaking down. And it's a problem. It's a real problem. And we've gotten to the point now in this country where companies are telling middle-aged men and women who have families, you're no longer valuable here. We want the H-1B visa holder because they're cheap labor. And those men and women are also something called a voter. The H-1B visa holder is not. And those men and women who are losing their jobs and unable to find new jobs because companies, for the sake of diversity or cheap labor, are hiring H-1B visa holders, they're going to burn that system to the ground, and the companies are going to get what they deserve. We're all going to be worse off for it because the H-1B visa system actually does play a good role in this country, supplementing labor in this country, but too many companies, particularly in the tech sector, are using it to erase local labor, not supplement local labor. And I got to tell you, it's going to hurt us, but I'm totally going to understand it. Completely going to understand the problem. I'm completely going to understand the anger of the American citizens who decide a pox on all your houses and burn it down to the ground. I'm horrified to learn how big a problem this is. I'm still getting phone calls from people. I'm still getting emails from people. I'm still getting text messages and direct messages and private messages from people who are sitting on the sidelines, a lot of them in the tech industry, saying my job got replaced with an H-1B visa holder and I can't find new work. And I'm in my 40s and they tell me they want someone younger, or I'm too costly, or I'm too white. The companies of America have a good thing going. And that good thing is going to come crashing down. We're starting to see it happen with even Republicans. Howard Lutnick, by the way, in a cabinet meeting just a short time ago, said that the federal government should start taking ownership of patents in universities and in other instances. That's just the government grab is going to stifle innovation, and the public's going to let it happen because the companies have stopped valuing human beings as a meaningful part of companies. If you don't value the people are going to turn against you. And those people have more votes than you collectively. and the politicians will turn on you, and we're starting to see it happen. And it's unfortunate because it's going to drag our economy into the gutter, but I can see it coming. It's unfortunate. It really is that companies just no longer value having people. Now, I got to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them, save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. It's an air purifier, so it gets rid of dust, it gets rid of pollen, it gets rid of pet dander floating in the air. It generates plasma, which kills 99.9% of bacteria and viruses that flow through it, and then it pushes ozone out into the space that it's cleaning, and that ozone latches onto ionized particles you know as odors and neutralizes those odors. It wipes them out. I used it on my back porch the other night because the window was cracked. I didn't realize that I had the smoker on. And the back porch, we got it glassed in, and it got really smoky. Smelled like the ribs I was smoking, which I was fine with. My wife, not so much. Fired up the Eden Pure Thunderstorm, and it just wiped out the odors. It smelled like clean air in the back. No more smoke odor. It works. I keep one in my travel bag. They're small. You can plug it into the wall, plug it in with a USB cord, and you get 3 of them and save $200. Eden Pure Deals. Eden like the Garden of Eden. Pure as the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
249 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. All lanes temporarily held briefly by the airport. 85 northbound, Camp Creek Parkway, exit 72, getting some debris out of the roadway there. If you're traveling 85 north out of DeKalb up toward Gwinnett County, you're already seeing the afternoon slow zone fill in from 285 passing Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99 to Norcross. And they still haven't cleared this right lane construction. It's active in Kennesaw, 75 south below Wade Green Road, exit 273. Use Highway 41 out of Ackworth. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with national LTE coverage for a limited time. Get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradio.com. Use code radio for an extra 5% off. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
I just won $1,000 from WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Your next chance to win is at 5
I am
p.m.
so excited.
From 95.5 WSB.
Download the WSB radio app now.
You know how many times people call me to fix their garage door so they can sell their house? For years, they put up with the squeaking and the jamming, or they don't even use it because they lost the remote. Then when it comes time to sell, they fix it up nice for the next guy. For the exact same money, you can fix it up now and enjoy it yourself while you still live there. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. An expert repair, replacement remote, or garage door tune-up will give you years of trouble-free service. Works great for you, works great for the next guy when you decide to sell. Because you deserve to live in a house as nice as the real estate ad you're going to write about it. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and maybe enjoy your garage door so much you decide not to move. Think of the money that'll save.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
You know, I've had listeners, coworkers, friends come up and ask me, hey, Aram, what makes Advanced Hair Restoration different? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. First off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and their before and afters are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge-quality experience that's hard to find elsewhere. Finally, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for the savings special opportunity, it's here, friends. Advanced Hair Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details and to schedule your free consultation, call 770-660-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair guaranteed to grow. 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're a different kind of wireless company dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Because let's face it, our needs are different. Big wireless unlimited plans are designed for 20-somethings, not us. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on one thing, bringing you affordable, reliable rate plans that suit your needs, not ours. How do we do that? We start by using the same towers as the big guys, the exact same towers. We then create rate plans designed for your usage. The fact is, we can offer you an unlimited plan with the same network quality for less because we understand how you use wireless services. Our plans start at just $20 a month. And forget trying to chat with robots. You'll get 100% US-based award-winning customer service when you need help. Come find out how wireless should be and join the millions who've made the switch.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Text Eric to 33777 and get the 4 Things You Need to Know podcast. Eric tells you the 4 things to pay attention to after the show. Also available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app.
Hello and welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. I want to end here a little bit at TMI. Too much information, too much personal information. You know, I am struggling to eat better and lose weight and get in shape. And I go to the gym and I do CrossFit because I like CrossFit more than just regular exercises. I put a gym in my office and I get on the treadmill and it's working slowly but surely. But y'all, I do not like to eat salads and whatnot. And now that I have braces, it's even worse eating leafy vegetables and stuff like that. But I do recognize the need to be in better shape. And I think that I enjoy CrossFit more than just I get bored just okay, I'm gonna do my deadlift and now I'm gonna do my squat and now I'm gonna do my bench press, and it just I work with a trainer because I'd rather do it with someone and have a little more accountability. One of the things I find weird about some CrossFit boxes is that they essentially want you to just kill yourself in the workout. I see this all the time. I follow different guys on Instagram. It's like, I'm going to give you this workout that nearly killed me, and it's do 2,000 burpees and then run 5 miles. It's just no, but it's generally it's not bad. And guys challenging each other to do push-ups and pull-ups and stuff. It's nothing new, and yet. This is from the New York Times. Last week, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. challenged Pete Hegseth to a test of fitness in which each of them would do 50 pull-ups and 100 push-ups in 10 minutes or less. Try to get under 5 minutes, Mr. Kennedy said, of each section of the challenge while wearing a standard gym attire of a tucked-in T-shirt and jeans. The Pete and Bobby Challenge circulated online. Here's the headline, how the New York Times covered this. 100 push-ups and 50 pull-ups in under 10 minutes. What could go wrong? Fitness experts caution against jumping into a difficult routine suggested by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Pete Hegseth. Again, this is the absurd endgame of the Erickson rule of the media. When Democrats are in charge, the media covers the beneficiaries of policies, and when Republicans are in charge, they cover the victims of policies. And here, they're trying to claim if you do this, you could hurt yourself. And then they generally blast CrossFit for the Murph Challenge, a CrossFit workout every Memorial Day in honor of Michael Murphy, a Navy SEAL killed in Afghanistan. It's 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats. Before a second mile run, you start with a mile run, all while wearing a weighted vest to look like body armor. Not everyone. I don't do the Murph Challenge. Because you know what? I know my body and age and fitness level. Yesterday, I did 100 push-ups in less than 12 minutes. In less than 12 minutes, I had to do deadlifts. Well, it was snatches, really, and deadlifts. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Between each one, I had to do push-ups. And then I had to do hanging leg raises, hold on to a bar and with my legs dangling from the ground and pull my knees up to my stomach. And I had to do 12 of those. It amounted to 100 push-ups, more than 100 hanging, and I'm fine. And I'm an out-of-shape 50-year-old. I'm fine. You're going to be fine if you get into fitness. Just don't push yourself hard. Actually, you know what? Push yourself hard, just not to the extent that you break your body. The idea, the hand-wringing, the worrying from the New York Times over this, because it's Pete Hegseth and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And if you're a longtime listener to the program, you know I don't like Kennedy at all. I like Hegseth. I don't like Kennedy. I think he's a terrible human being. But God bless him for encouraging people to get physically fit. That's actually a good thing. You want to lower healthcare costs in this country? If you're not going to give everybody free Ozempic or whatever to lose weight, actually get them physically fit. Get people doing push-ups. My son now joins me in the gym in the afternoon. He wants to be on the school golf team. He's on the tennis team, and he realized that squatting, deadlift, and bench press, they're actually going to help him. I got to tell you, I've gotten more encouraged going to the gym because I've seen how much further I drive the ball on the driving range just by upping my squats and my deadlift. And as long as I'm over my body weight on all of them, I'm happy, which I am proud to say I am. Can't let my wife out deadlift me. No way. But this is what's just stupid New York Times nonsense, discouraging people from exercising because it's political now.
When the news matters to you.
The massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
You know, this year has been the toughest year for young people graduating from high school or junior college or traditional four-year college to find a job in their chosen field. We've had since 2009. It's a brutal time right now for people without a lot of work experience, but new skills that they learned in school. So what should somebody do who's in college or high school or community college right now? The most important thing is get whatever work you can while you're in school in your chosen field of study. People who graduate with some work experience in what they want to do have a much easier time finding a job once you finish your education than those who don't have that work experience. I'm Clark Howard.
News, weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
At 3 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top local story. It's now up to a Carroll County jury to decide the fate of a former state trooper on trial for a high-speed crash that killed two teenagers.